Woo! Look at what we got here. If it ain't LL Cool, JPC. That's me. That's right. In Florida State. Florida State. Florida State can't see one. Look at that shit. Got my damn phone over here. But that's right. It doesn't look like Florida State can see the playoffs. And we're having many people wetting their diapers. It ain't just Florida State fans. We got senators and hell, we might even have the Bidens involved before long. You seeing a lot of Alabama hate out there now. We're also going to talk about probably going to talk about a little bit of conference realignment today. I'm going to bring Cousin here. He done a little video today that I'm going to get him to give us a rundown of what's going on. Seems like we might have a little separation going on, that kind of deal. But I'm thinking y'all probably want me to go ahead and put the cowboy hat back on, right? Hold on. I'll get it back. Bear Bryant's wearing it over here. See? There's the bear. All right. Back to normal. Now, I'm going to bring Cousin here real quick. He's going to give us a little rundown on some possible conference realignment or maybe a separation of conferences, so to speak. How's it going, brother?
What's up?
Not much.
Nice to be back.
Did you hear me have my phone on blast over here?
I did. I heard the echo.
I was like, damn.
Hey, brother, we can't hear handling you 2 times.
That's right. I was like, damn, man, what the hell's going on here? I blasted that one. I sort of screwed myself on that. But I saw earlier today, I haven't really got a chance to watch it, but I saw the thumbnail. It looked pretty interesting. It looked like you had a separation of maybe a few conferences, maybe the Big Four separating itself from the other conferences kind of deal. I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah, the 2 articles came out today, one by Nicole Auerbach at The Athletic and the other one by Ross Dellinger at Yahoo Sports. Basically, they're in the NCAA, they're having meetings this week, and the new NCAA president has actually proposed some new guidelines. He actually wants to start a new subdivision in the FBS for the I can't remember the words he used exactly, but basically for the schools who have the most resources. Right. He never did come out and say the Autonomous 5 or the Power 5 or none of that, nothing like that. But that's kind of what it alluded to, was having a whole separate subdivision in the FBS for just those schools alone. They can make their own rules. They could actually do their own NIL deals with players. The schools themselves could do NIL deals with players. They would be required to put $30,000 a year per athlete into a trust fund for at least half the athletes at their school. Obviously, 50% of that money would have to go to females, 50% would have to go to males because of Title IX, and just several other things that they would be able to do and or be required to do as part of this new subdivision. So
these conferences that you're talking about, creating another subdivision, are they going to call it like the 1AA again, something like that? And is it going to be like the American Conference, the Mountain West, and Conference USA? And those
it would be more like the Power Fours. It would probably be the Big Ten, the SEC. Again, he didn't specify that, but it would likely be those. I mean, the Group of 5 conferences more than likely wouldn't be able to afford to do that, because I did the math on it. And if you look at West Virginia alone, which is my team, they have about 500 student athletes at West Virginia ballpark. It would cost West Virginia $7.5 million a year just to fund that trust fund that I was talking about, that they were talking about. So that right there that's money that they're not spending right now. That doesn't count the NIL money they would have to pay out. It doesn't count the coaching salaries. It doesn't count the increased scholarship money that they would be able to put up, which is was something else that was mentioned. And speaking of new scholarship money, there would be an uncapped amount of scholarship money that these schools would be allowed to pay their student athletes. How many schools out there can afford to pay uncapped scholarship money?
Just a few elites, I guess.
That's exactly. So that's why I think this is going to form.
Think about 40 or 50, maybe.
Maybe. And I made that point in my video. There are probably a lot of Power 5 schools that wouldn't be able to afford this, much less the group of fives.
It sounds like to me, and I talked about this a while back. I don't know if you heard me talking about it, but I talked about a while back that there was going to be probably a separation of elites.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I don't like that idea. Now, I know my team, Alabama, likely wouldn't be affected by that, but at the same time, man, it just feels like we're going towards an NFL model for the elites.
Yeah, I don't like it either, but what I thought was interesting is we had all heard that we thought the Power 5 would pull away, and now it's the Power 4, but we all heard that they would pull away from the NCAA completely. I never dreamed that the NCAA would actually get on board with this move and propose it. But I think they're involved in so many lawsuits right now for not paying athletes and all this other stuff. I think this is a way for them to try to get some of the pressure off of them, meaning the NCAA. They can get some of the pressure off of them, and that way maybe that they won't be sued and logged up in court cases for, log jammed in court cases forever.
All right.
And by the way, this would not be, the money wouldn't be coming from collectives. It would be coming directly from the school.
Okay.
The schools would actually be paying players.
All right. Well, I mean, right now, teams like Alabama, for example, their athletic department has their own bank account. So the school right now don't pay them anything. And when they pay those players like that and stuff with Alabama, I guess it's coming out of that bank account.
Interesting.
For the athletic
I see JD saying that Oklahoma's already doing something similar as well. How can they get away with that? Because I thought that was illegal.
I don't know. Y'all asking the wrong person on that. Says here, Kathy Scott says DeSantis is also filing a lawsuit about the Florida State snub. I haven't heard anything about DeSantis getting involved in it, but I did hear about Rick Scott, and that's why I brought this up right here. Says here, Rick Scott letter demands answers from the college football committee over the FSU snub. It was a shocking decision. He's going down here. I'm not going to read this out verbatim, but basically he's wanting some kind of transparency. He wants to see their emails. He wants to see their text messages. Now I know there's a lot of people out there that's mad about this whole thing, and it's pretty reasonable and understandable as to why they are. I mean, it's never happened before, but there was going to be a first regardless. And that SEC school had never been left out before, so one of the first was going to happen, right? But from this article here, I mean, do you think they're taking it a little too far? You think you're going a little overboard with this?
I'll be honest with you. I think that's a politician just trying to earn favors with his voting base here. I'm not sure what they can actually do legislatively about this. I mean, it's.
I'm thinking. It's funny you said that because that's the first thing that crossed my mind. I'm like, this dude's grandstanding. He's doing this to get votes. And it's sort of like the guys down in Louisiana. Me and Killer Breeze was talking about this off the air. They sort of pulled the same shit when, the Saints got screwed out of the Super Bowl with that pass interference call that was an obvious pass interference call against the, I think it was the Rams. Remember that?
I don't off the top of my head, but.
I really believe it's a lot of grandstanding going on. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. From this regard, I just don't know how it helps the situation. I mean, next year this won't be an issue. So, to me, they're just beating a dead horse, as they say. I just don't see the point in continuing to bring it up and hash it out. It's done. It sucked for Florida State. It's done. Just move on, man. Focus on your bowl game.
So this is the comments you was talking about. They're already doing that at the University of Oklahoma. It's some type of foundation set up that benefits all student athletes. It's called One Oklahoma. You say that's illegal?
Oh, I don't know. That's what I was asking. I thought it was. I don't know enough about it. I was asking the question, is it illegal? I was under the impression that you couldn't. I guess it depends on what the money's being used for, I guess. I don't know.
All right. So when these conferences separate, is it going to be like a Big Four, or is it just going to be teams from certain conferences? I mean, is the entire SEC going to be included? Is the entire Big Ten going to be included, or are they going to break off from some of their own member institutions, like the Vanderbilts and the Purdues of the world?
The articles obviously didn't specify that, but in my opinion, it will only be specific schools, because I don't even if you look at the Big Ten and SEC, there are some schools in those conferences that don't have the same amount of resources as the top, the upper echelon schools do. For example, I doubt Mississippi State and Ole Miss has the same amount of resources as Alabama and Georgia. In the Big Ten, I doubt Maryland and Indiana has the same resources as Michigan and Ohio State. You know what I mean? So to me, I think it's going to come down to, you're going to have 40, 50 schools, whatever that number ends up being, that are either able to or willing to participate in a new subdivision with only the upper echelon schools. Now, again, that's strictly my opinion. I have no. I mean, I just don't see how it's feasible for schools that are on. Think about it. If your school's only making 40, 50 million a year in TV revenue, and you have to pay $7.5 million of that out, or even more potentially, depending on the school, to your student athletes in a trust fund. Plus, you have to pay them NIL money. Plus, you have to pay them more scholarship money. There's not enough money to do all of that. So, I just don't see how the schools in the Big 12 and the ACC, and even your lower level schools in the Big 10 and SEC will be able to afford it. At least if they want to be competitive. So basically, I think the separation between the haves and the have-nots is going to grow even more in this scenario.
So I ask you, did you think my thumbnail was pretty accurate? Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it. Is that sloth on the left?
It's that damn. It looks like that damn dude from the Goonies, that mongoloid from the Goonies.
Yeah.
They just put that mongoloid's face on the 7-0 and make him look sort of spastic. And it's the Wambulance and you mad bro, that kind of deal.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people, by the way. I thought Florida State got screwed, but but it is what it is. I mean, it's over with. They need to move on. Put it behind them. Just worry about beating Georgia now.
Yeah, I mean, their conference, not their conference, but their strength of schedule is like 55th or something like that.
I agreed.
And I think that was one of the factors, too. A lot of people keep pointing to the injuries, but they also had the 55th toughest schedule, and Alabama had the 5th.
Right. Well, and I agree with that part of it.
I don't think Florida State's probably better than the top 12 right now.
But what I had a problem with is when they asked Boo Corrigan to explain the reasoning, he didn't use strength of schedule. He mentioned the injury as being the reason.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, you probably could have helped yourself if you'd elaborate a little more.
And I think that is just bullcrap that injuries is even part of the criteria that they use to decide who plays for a championship. I don't agree with that at all.
Well, it wasn't just their starting quarterback; it was their backup quarterback too, wasn't it?
But the backup quarterback will be back for the game. That's another issue. And also another issue: why did you have him ranked 4th the week before, knowing their quarterback was out for the season, or 3rd, or wherever you had him at? Why did you have him in the top 4?
I don't know.
The prior week.
That's pretty stupid, actually. But
and you didn't. And you now if you were going to take him out the week before.
And here's the thing, man. They say it's about the 4 best, but I don't think the 4 best is in there right now. Because technically, if you think about it, in my opinion, Georgia's probably better than Washington.
They're probably better than Michigan, too.
But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
I don't think Michigan – I'm not saying Michigan's a bad team. But, I mean, Michigan hasn't looked all that impressive in some of their wins either.
That's what I'm saying. And Georgia's won 29 games in a row. They're 29-1 in their last 30 games. 2-time defending national champions. And they get dropped to 6th behind the same Florida State team that you just said couldn't hold anybody's water, but yet they're ahead of Georgia.
Well, that's another problem. If you don't think they're good enough to be in the championship because their quarterback's hurt, A, like I mentioned, you shouldn't have had them in there the week before, and B, you should have had Georgia ahead of them. Have Georgia 5th and them 6th.
Yeah, Georgia should definitely been ahead of them. Georgia, like I said, I mean, and these conferences sort of did it to themselves. I've seen this said many times, and you might have been the one that told me this, but they had a chance to have the playoff this year, the other conferences, and they didn't do it. For whatever reason, they wanted to drag the feet on it and wait a couple of years. I guess they wanted to wait until Texas and Oklahoma got out of their conference and whoever was leaving the other conferences in the Pac-12 going into the Big 12. They wanted to wait till all that took place, I guess, before they had the playoff. Is the only thing I can figure. Why else would you put it off for 2 years? There was no reason to. You could went ahead and start it this year, and all this crap that you're talking about right now wouldn't be really talked about as much. Now, there would have been a pretty interesting caveat, though. If I'm not mistaken, the top G5 school gets an invite to the playoff, right?
You mean in the new format?
Yeah, don't the top G5 school?
The top, because it'll be the top 5 conference champions.
All right.
And which would I mean, there's only 4 power conferences now, so it would have to be you'd have to have one G5 in there.
Liberty would have been the 12th seed, right?
Yes.
All right. You know who's ranked 12 in the poll?
Actually, they wouldn't have been 12th, would they? They would have been 5th.
Well, they might have been 5th, but the thing, my point is they'd be taking a spot away from somebody. They'd be taking a spot away from whoever was 12th. You know who 12th was?
Oklahoma.
It was Oklahoma. We'd have had some mad-ass Oklahoma Sooners up in here if they out of the playoffs because of Liberty, right?
Yeah, you would have, boy. Definitely. I mean, I actually have no problem with a G5 team getting in. I think they ought to let them prove themselves. If they get blown out, they get blown out. But there might be one of these times they don't get blown out and they win a couple games.
That's true. I mean, especially in the formats they got. I mean, they make them. I don't know, man. Could Liberty beat Florida State? Maybe. I don't know.
Well,
if Florida State's the 5th ranked team in their thing, they might be setting themselves up for epic first round upset if Florida State's as bad as they think they are.
Well, I don't think Florida State's that bad. Their defense is elite.
Well, yeah, they shut down Louisville, but I mean, how good is Louisville really? I mean, I know they
got a top 20 offense in the country.
They got a top 20 offense, but it's against some subpar defenses, right?
Well, I mean, I guess that's an argument you can make. I don't know Louisville's schedule other than they play in the ACC.
Good defense they play on and score 6 points, right?
Yeah.
Let me give my 4 horsemen shout-outs. My 4 horsemen shout-outs for the show today are Alpha Dragon Gaming FTW, Hank, Zach Hamner, and Rich Castle. If you want to get your 4 horsemen shout-out and get your badge like these guys and gals have in here, it's just $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. You'll get your badge, you'll be deputized, you'll be in the outlaw posse. And like I said, you'll get your random 4 horsemen shout out as well as possibly be the comment of the day on the podcast.
What I find interesting is now you're hearing rumors that this whole situation has gotten Florida State and others in the ACC so pissed off that they're actually wanting to get out even quicker now of the league.
Yeah, and it ain't really the ACC's fault. But I did see something earlier today that was sort of interesting from a show that me and you really don't care too much about. I just saw the headline. I don't click on the show anymore because I'm sort of in the same arena as you are on the Monty show now.
Yeah.
But I saw his little headline. It said that some of the teams are calling ESPN out and the committee saying that this thing was fixed. That ESPN, they got a huge interest in the SEC being in the playoff, and that maybe there was some backroom dealings going on. That's why he wants the transparency. He wants to see the emails. He wants to see their text messages. But I'm not sure are you really allowed to invade someone's privacy like that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's Congress, I think, can do that. I do think they have subpoena power, don't they?
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Or maybe they can. I don't know. I mean,
they're probably too busy giving billions of dollars to Ukraine, right?
Well, yeah, I'm not ready to go as far as to say that the thing was fixed.
That's why I'm saying it's just some crazy stuff going on. I'm not just saying it because it's my team. I'm just saying that's some crazy stuff.
I know. Yeah, I'm not ready. I think that's going too far. I did have an issue with it. because I just felt like the criteria they used was bogus. And I do think that the committee moves the goalpost every year. Okay, 2 years ago, was Cincinnati one of the best 4 teams 2 years ago? Or did they get in because they went undefeated?
I can't remember who they were up against.
And last year was TCU didn't even win their conference last year. Were they one of the 4 best teams?
TCU wasn't, no.
Exactly. And they got in because because they said they deserved it because of how they were ranked all year.
There was a big outcry for it because they didn't want to see 2 SEC teams back in the Final Four again. And I think this year, because there wasn't going to be any SEC teams in, there's like, well, we need to move the goalpost a little bit on this one.
Right. So you admit that there could have been some SEC bias in there.
Definitely, without doubt.
Okay, that's good. I respect you for admitting that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty damn sure that happened. What do you think?
A lot of people won't.
That's not to say though that I don't think Alabama's a better team than Florida State.
I think they are too. But my problem is,
even with Jordan Travis, I think Alabama.
My problem here, and here's another problem I have. What other sport in America do you know that you have a bunch of people sitting in a room giving their opinions on who should be playing each other? It should be decided on the field, right? You decide your champion on the field, not with a bunch of guys prognosticating and guessing who would beat who without ever seeing them play a game.
That's why we should have. Like I said, that's why them other conferences sort of screwed themselves. They should have went ahead and went to the 12-team playoff this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have had a little whining and bitching about Liberty being in over Oklahoma. But other than that, you wouldn't have had much bitching going on. And them trying to sue and calling for people's heads and whatnot, man, did they do that in the NCAA basketball tournament? I don't know how many times in the NCAA basketball tournament you've had a subjective invite given out to a team that had more wins and less losses. You know what I mean? There's numerous times in the past. My team, Alabama, got screwed pretty hard one year. We was like 23-9.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get in the NCAA tournament.
It happens every year.
Out there with just 18 wins, 17 wins it got in. We had 6 more wins than that.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody gets screwed. And even when they go to 12 teams, the 13th place team's going to get screwed. So, you know what I mean? But, exactly. But that's not as big most of the time, that team is not good enough to win it anyway. Now, this year they might have been. This year was unique. I will give it that. There were a lot of good teams in college football this year. And I think there's more parity this year than there has been in a long time. Most years, you can look at 2 or 3 teams and say, okay, those teams are good enough to win a national championship. This year, there might be 5, 6, 7 teams that are good enough to win a national championship. You know? I mean, Oklahoma beat Texas.
Johnny John says exactly. FSU starter was out the week before, and they still had him in the top 4. He sort of agreed when you hear it.
Yeah.
But I agree that Alabama's the better team. The committee was going to piss somebody off regardless. Yeah, there was going to be
That's
something.
True.
Something was going to happen this time. Like you said, it was just a situation that just never happened before. With so many teams with zero losses and 1 loss, usually you don't see this happen, but it did. And if Alabama had been left out, people would have been bitching about, the SEC being left out.
Yeah. By the way, though, I will say, as a West Virginia fan, it actually helped us. Did you know that?
How to help y'all? I know what you fixing to go at.
Because
I know where you're going. I need to talk to you about that too. I just got thinking about what you said last time you was on the show.
And this will also answer Matt Bingham's question about why West Vaginitis or whatever he called us. Why we've been so quiet. We actually haven't been. We're actually really excited.
They got a pretty damn good bowl at the
because the SEC had so many freaking teams in the New Year's Six. They didn't have enough teams to fill all their bowl slots. Exactly.
That's because, and you were saying it was because maybe the SEC is top heavy, but it's not that. It's because
I corrected that on Twitter. After I got off your show, I got to thinking about that, and I actually was wrong on that statement.
Yeah, it's not that we're top heavy. It's just that we got a lot of teams, like you said,
Correct.
in the New Year's Six Bowl, and our top 6 beat up on the bottom 8. They didn't take any upset losses, and that's just the way it worked out.
But it helped us because there was not an SEC team available to play in the Dukes Mayo Bowl against an ACC team. And West Virginia was at risk of having to play against a group of 5 team in a bowl game. So somebody at West Virginia got on the phone with the Dukes Mayo Bowl and said, listen, We've played in that bowl before. Our fans will travel to that game, which they will, by the way. We have one of our largest alumni bases in Charlotte, which is where the game's at. It's only 3 hours. I mean, I've already bought my tickets. It's only 3 hours for me. I'm going to be going to the game. A lot of people are going to the game. So they said, look, our fans will go to that game. It's a regional game for us. Our fans will be excited about it. And, of course, the Dukes Mayo Bowl was, agreed, and they picked us to play UNC in the Dukes Mayo Bowl. And had the SEC not gotten so many teams in the New Year's Six, and they might not have gotten those teams into New Year's Six, or that many anyway, had Alabama not gotten in the playoff.
That's right.
So it actually ended up benefiting West Virginia in the end.
Right. Jeff Payton says it's like Saban. Says Jeff Payton, right? Jeff Payton says it's like Saban said in the SEC championship game presser. It doesn't matter how many teams are in the playoffs. The first team out will always win. And that's where it's always going to be, man. It's just like in a basketball tournament. You got 68 teams, and the 69th and 70th team are going to be pissed off about it. So
now, do you think, as an Alabama fan, Outlaw, be honest, would you have been pissed off if Florida State had gotten in over Alabama?
I think I would have, yeah.
So somebody was going to be left out.
I definitely would have been mad because I was preaching that. People were talking about it's going to be Alabama or Texas. I'm like, Texas should be in over Alabama, no matter what. They beat us.
I agree.
Not only did they beat us straight up, they beat us at Tuscaloosa and by double digits. So Texas, if Alabama got in over Texas, that would have been a real travesty. But it shouldn't be about Alabama and Texas. It should be between Alabama and Florida State. And that's what it ended up being. I'm not saying I was some kind of Nostradamus, but you know good and well that that's what I was talking about way before it happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think we could see this potentially coming. I just thought it would be between Alabama and Texas. I never dreamed that Florida State would be the team getting left out.
They could have just held on for one more year. They wouldn't have to deal with this shit.
I know, man. I don't feel bad for the school of Florida State. Florida State's never, West Virginia got screwed over in a bowl game years ago in 1993. Florida State got in a bowl game over us in 1993 for a national championship that we didn't get to play in. Now, it wouldn't have mattered. We ended up getting killed in our bowl game anyway. But the point is, I do feel bad for those players because they won every single game on their schedule, which is all they can. That's all you can ask them to do. They did everything they were asked to do, and still got left out. And that's, that's a tough pill to swallow for those
Paul
young men.
Feinbaum sort of brought up an interesting point. And I don't listen to him as much as I used to, but he was on Matt Berry's show, and he said that Florida State has not done itself any favors in the last year or so with the way they've handled the whole ACC thing. They've come across as a little self-righteous and, a little arrogant in how they talked about how they deserve more than the rest of the SEC team, ACC teams, and they deserve to be let out of their contract. Well, you shouldn't have signed the contract to 2036 if you didn't want to be in the ACC. Now, all of a sudden, they're better than everybody else? No, man. And he said there's a lot of administrators involved with the committee and stuff, and, it might have been in the back of their mind and might have rubbed them the wrong way, and that's why they're talking about all the supposed emails and text messages were taking place before the committee made the choices.
Yeah.
Well, and they basically come across as a bunch of crybabies with the whole ACC thing, and now they're doing it again. I mean, did they not rub you the wrong way in how they've sort of handled this whole wanting to get out of the ACC thing?
Yeah, I think they've been a little bit. Yeah, I do. I mean, they've been a little bit, like you said, looking down their nose, I guess, at the rest of the league. And I think it's rubbed the rest of the league the wrong way, to be honest with you. But it seems like the rest of the league has had their back in this situation because but let's face it, at the end of the day, it's all about the money. They just missed out on about, I don't know, several $1 million worth of money by Florida State not getting in that game.
Yeah, but Jonathan made a point last year that there's a lot of people that missed out on a lot of money with TCU being in there. Right?
What's that now?
With TCU being in the playoff last year, a lot of people were missing out on some money.
Oh, absolutely. Somebody's always missing out on money.
And
there's only 4 teams in it.
But even further back, when you brought up Cincinnati, when Cincinnati got in as a pure G5 school, that really put the screws on some people.
Oh, yeah.
And I know the Vegas probably wasn't happy about that national title game between TCU and Georgia, man. That was crazy, man. They beat them 65-7.
Right. Yeah, nobody saw that coming. Georgia was just playing their A game that night, and TCU didn't play a good game at all. It was just a perfect storm,
The lights were just too big for them, right?
Yeah, it's one team had been there before and one hadn't, and I think it showed. But
I want to say congratulations real quick. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No, you're good.
Matt Bingham and his wife just had a baby yesterday. He said, we just got home, and I'm just being silly. I'm in a good mood. He said, damn, man. They must really like us, cuz they're on the show right after they had.
Yeah, really. Congratulations, Matt. I also like your profile picture there, man. Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt, aka Wyndham Rotunda, or actually Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt.
But yeah, Matt. What did y'all? You said it was a boy or a girl? I haven't been looking at the comments over here. You probably said, "Oh, you named him Frankie." Okay. So I'm taking it's a boy. This is one of them transgender names.
Yeah, it's all good, JD. I'm over that, my man. I'm over it. It's all good now. It was a flash in the pan incident, and it's over with.
What's that?
He was talking about me blowing a gasket last time.
Oh, yeah. Well, it happens to everybody. I do it all the time. You just don't realize it'll happen.
It's usually not on YouTube for everybody to see, right?
I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm blowing a gasket, and when I listen to myself back, I said, well, I didn't sound mad. But I was burning inside when I said it.
Right.
Johnny John says, I'm cool with a 2-loss team being left out next year, but at least we won't have any more undefeated Power 5 champs left out. No, probably won't, even though I will say that if they're picking the best teams, I don't think Florida State's one of the best 12, to be honest with you. Right now, the way it stands with their roster and whatnot. And, everybody brings up the Ohio State thing. Ohio State won a national championship with a third-string quarterback. But when Braxton went down, they didn't miss a beat with JT Barrett.
Right.
They kept on. As a matter of fact, they were better with JT Barrett. And then
that's not a good comparison because they had played well with their backup quarterbacks, both of them.
That's what I'm saying. Both backup quarterbacks they played very well with. And as Jonathan said, that team wasn't built around the quarterback anyway. It's built around Ezekiel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Zeke Elliott.
Yep.
That was and he's the one that tore us up too, by the way, in that championship. I think it was a first-round playoff game. They tore us a new ass with Ezekiel Elliott. Keep on getting him mixed up with Ezekiel Knight. I keep calling him Ezekiel Knight for some reason. Jeff Payton said Florida State had Jordan Travis and barely beat Boston College and only beat Clemson by 7. That's true. But they did beat LSU by double digits, right?
Yeah, but Alabama had to have a Hail Mary to beat Auburn. So what's that? So that doesn't mean anything.
And Auburn had just gotten beat 21 points by New Mexico State. So we weren't looking very impressive either until we beat Georgia.
Right. Well, every team in a season is going to have a game where they don't play as well. It happens to everybody.
Well, nothing's a given in college football, really, man. Unless you're playing someone on the FCS level, usually you're in the top 20, you're going to win that game. Unless you're Michigan.
Yeah, West Virginia had 2 games this year where we lost to teams. Well, one game we lost to a team we shouldn't have lost to, and the other game was closer than it should have been. That's when Houston beat us on a Hail Mary. West Virginia did not play well on defense that night at all. They were the better football team, but they just didn't play. They didn't play like it that night, so they got beat. And then against Baylor, it almost happened again, but we were the ones that were able to score in the last seconds of the game.
So going back to the original topic that we was talking about real quick, the whole conference realignment thing.
Yeah.
I was looking at your thumbnail, and it had a split, and it had 4 top conferences, and then it had like the Mountain West and them here on the other side.
Right.
And so that's why I thought you was talking about the top 4 conferences just splitting off.
Yeah,
And then those schools becoming like their own division.
that is what I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay,
But I just expanded on that. I just expanded on that in the video and said it could even spread further than that potentially. It could end up being some of the lower tier Power 5 teams could even not be in that either if they choose not to be, because they can't opt out. They could choose not to be in that division.
Yeah, and if they wanted to have their own national championship, I guess they could.
In football, yes, because it's controlled by the college football playoff.
Just like the FCS does, they could recreate the Division I AA, I guess. Mike Leach, late Mike Leach, RIP, had an idea that maybe they should take those teams that you're talking about and put them in the spring and let them have their own platform.
Right.
That way they wouldn't have to compete with the Big Four conferences if they were playing, their
Right.
league in the spring.
Yeah, if that happens, I would say I would venture to guess that they will probably change the college football playoff model to exclude the group of 5 teams at that point. I would think. Why would you? Yeah. Now in basket, the proposal that was set forth by President Baker, they would still be playing against each other in other sports. Like the NCAA basketball tournament, for example, would not change. But they would be able to, for example, even just because the Power 5 or Power 4 conferences could pay their players and all that, and the other one couldn't, they would still compete against each other in NCAA tournament. They would just be able to. They would have different rules than the other division would, basically.
This off the topic a little bit since we got a lot of Sooners in here. Where do you think Dylan Gabriel's going to end up at?
They're saying Oregon. I'm hearing a rumor that it could end up at Oregon.
Yeah, I saw another one floating around. I think Lori Brogdon had told me this. I don't know if it was a troll job or what. There's talk of him going to USC.
Wow.
They do that, man.
Oh, my
That's going to be more fire right there. But I'm like, you know what? That's the second quarterback y'all got from Oklahoma. Y'all like getting Oklahoma's used quarterbacks. What's up with that?
Yeah, and I was kind of assuming when he hit the portal that he had intentions of going to Mississippi State to stay with Levy, but maybe that's not the case.
Yeah, he could, but Mississippi State, I don't know if it would provide him the kind of opportunity Oregon would. I mean, that would be pretty epic if Oregon got in the playoffs next year and they played Oklahoma.
Yeah, that would be.
And Dylan Gabriel beat Oklahoma. Well, my goodness. They'll be turning on Jackson Arnold pretty quick, huh?
Yeah.
So, how much did those tickets cost? I'm just trying to get a general idea of these bowl game prices, not the mega bowls, but the middle of the road kind of bowls.
The ones I got, and I got some of the less expensive ones I could find. I came up on a really good deal. I paid $109 a piece for mine.
That's not bad. Pretty good seats.
Well, by the time I paid the taxes and the fees, it was $200 a piece.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you know how they got to nail you with all them freaking fees.
Man, they $91 worth of fees.
Yes.
Jesus H. Christ.
No, I'm wrong. I told you wrong. It was $146 plus the fees. But now the similar seats in my section were going for $200 a piece. I just happened to come across. I bought mine off SeatGeek, so I come across somebody that were selling them a little bit cheaper. But yeah, they were going anywhere from. Now I found some $70 tickets that were in the, in the upper level.
What did you say the name of the site was? The ticket site. The ticket site.
I got mine off SeatGeek, but you can get them off. You can get them from anybody. StubHub.
It's called SeatGeek.
SeatGeek.
SeatGeek. Okay.
Seat, SEAT.
All right. Yeah.
Geek, GEEK.
All right. SeatGeek. Yeah, I might have to go in there and look and see, man. Because that sounds like a nice little bowl game. It seems like it'd be a pretty competitive game there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I haven't seen. I've been on the road all day today, so I haven't got to get updates on the news. I don't know so far, Drake May has not announced whether he's playing or not. So most people expect he won't.
Donkey Lewis is in the house.
There it is. Never fails.
Can't even get a sentence out without insulting you, can he?
Bro, anyone wonders why I pick on him.
That's why I pick on you, because you pick on me.
No, shut up.
I'm going to get you first before you get me.
Oh, man.
We're just in here talking about the seems like the entire government of Florida is coming down on Alabama and the committee trying to find out what went down behind the scenes. They want full disclosure and transparency on the emails and the text that took place before the selection. What do you think about that?
All right, so I've been thinking about this now for a couple, days, right? And you know how unbiased I try to be. But I do want to get both of you's take on this. I understand that Alabama has looked better than Florida State leading into this playoff. And people want to point out how they looked against Louisville, how they looked against I'm just going to leave it at Louisville because the second stream, I don't know, man. I think the Louisville game just put a sour taste in everybody's mouth. But I don't understand why there isn't criticism on how Alabama really looked against Auburn with our first string quarterback.
Yeah, well,
what do you think about that?
I just mentioned that.
Okay.
It's a fair point. That's I don't like using. Everybody has a bad game, man.
Yeah,
everybody's going to. So I don't really like that argument. But if you're going to use it for one team, you got to use it for another.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I mean, they came down to basically a Hail Mary to win the game against an Auburn team who had just gotten smacked by New Mexico State the week before.
Yeah.
And kudos to them for making the play. I mean, they did what they had to do. But then you're going to turn around and say, well, Florida State struggled on offense with their third-string quarterback. Okay.
When they come in with the New Mexico State thing, I do make them realize that, Auburn did almost beat Georgia, too. So we're not the only one who went down there and struggled with them.
I think the best argument that the committee could have made, in my opinion, was two things. And the second one people are not going to like. The first one is going to be, does the ACC have a down year? Right? Clemson is not Clemson, right? That we're used to seeing. Duke looked like almost a powerhouse when we know they would get smacked around by a real opponent any day of the week, in my opinion.
Duke sort of fizzled out.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Sorry, stupid fly. So I think that would have been probably, in my opinion, the most fair argument if you were to make the case for Alabama would have been, well, the ACC, look at Miami. Miami fizzled out. There's a lot of teams that just fizzled out that didn't help Florida State's case at the end of the year. I mean, and people want to make the argument against Auburn like me, and I have a hard time looking past Boston College for Florida State, right? So they both have that tick for tack. But I think after doing a little bit more research, the bigger scheme here isn't about the games on the field. It's about the TV deal that's about to be made for the playoff expansion that has not been made yet. And my case is this. They said the number they're putting out there for the market to own the rights to the playoffs, the 12-team playoff, is supposed to be unheard of and astronomical. They won't even release the numbers yet. That's how big the number is. That's how big that number is going to be, right? So my question is, if you're asking that much money and you put Florida State in the playoffs and they do turn it into a TCU, who's going to want to offer them that much money versus putting in a blue blood that has produced, has won national championships, that has a highlight of Nick Saban versus something fizzling out and looking like a complete jackass by putting them in there, again, for the TCU aspect. So I think people have to look at the TV, the media deal that hasn't been bought out yet for the playoffs.
But that doesn't sit well with me. That is a totally unethical way to choose a champion.
100%. But we know what drives this sport.
Yeah.
Thunder, Big Cahonie says, Thunder, it's not an SEC bias, it's a Bama bias. You'll learn it when you get in the SEC. I don't know if I agree with that, but I do agree that, like Kuz and me were talking about earlier, they put an SEC team in because there is an SEC bias. But it's just because, 80% of the time when the SEC gets in there, they do win the national championship. Now, they got in there and shit the bed every time, and I can probably understand the argument a little better.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not a Bama bias. It's more like an SEC bias.
And okay, so a question to both of you. Is there a point to be made that maybe Georgia should have been in over Alabama? 29 straight wins. They're only lost to Alabama in the SEC championship game. They didn't have
Alabama. Maybe over Washington.
Okay, but why? I'm just wondering why not Alabama?
Because they just beat them.
Head to head.
So the head-to-head does matter. 100%
That's why
does not matter.
It was never an Alabama-Texas discussion. It never was. It was Alabama and Florida State the whole time.
Well, no, that's not a fair point because they can't put in Alabama without putting in Texas. We know that.
I'm saying they're not going to put Alabama in over Texas.
Okay. So I get what you're saying now. Okay. I have a hard time with that because if the head-to-head matters, the record should matter more. We got to pick what we value more.
That I agree with 100%.
Right.
And the fact that injuries was even part of the discussion to me is ludicrous.
I believe it shouldn't matter as much as maybe a lot of people emphasize. I agree with you on that. I do because it was written in from day one that an injury should matter. If it's it says specifically, I think, to a star player that would impact the game.
Right.
But it seems like that's almost what they solely fed on, which I think was a mistake. It was a media mistake, in my opinion. Kind of like Colorado was a media mistake.
You can't really be mad at some of the committee members on the committee because they weren't there when the rules were first originally written. They were just going by what the criteria was.
Yeah.
And, the criteria is what I have a problem with.
Yeah, Greg McElroy said the same thing. Greg McElroy, as Alabama quarterback, said that he has a problem with the criteria and they just need to go back and rewrite the shit.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed 100% with that.
Yeah. And another thing I have a problem with, you're right, you can't blame the committee. But I will say this, the fact that half the committee doesn't really watch college football does not sit well with me.
Did you guys ever hear the rant Mike Leach did when that was asked about this a couple years ago?
Yeah, when 100%. And that's how I found out about it.
He was 100% right with everything he said. You have a bunch of people sitting in a room who probably probably don't even watch college football, know very little about it, making a decision on who should be playing in the game. He said college football is the only sport in America who chooses their champion that way.
They probably just flipped a coin, man.
Well, okay, so another argument to be made is this. If you don't watch college football religiously, how are you going to choose the teams? Probably you're going to lean on the people that do watch the football games a little bit.
Why would they allow anybody on the committee that don't know the product?
That's a good question, man. It doesn't make sense to me.
Is that for real, or is that just something y'all
know? That is 100% correct. The committee is made of deans, professors, some former athletes, the media, and some of them are not avid college football fans. They've openly said that. So
maybe they think they can look at it more unbiased and look at it by the criteria. Their criteria. Rodney Dawkins says they should have left out the Pac-12 champion Washington for Georgia.
No.
Because, if they're going to put the four best in, he's got a point. Georgia's better than Washington, and like Chris said, they're probably better than Michigan, too.
That would definitely –
That's why they should have went ahead and went to the 12-team playoff this year. Those conferences rubbed their feet and wanted to wait a couple of years until all this realignment shit died down, which it's not going to. And then – you get what you get, man. They would have had 12-team playoff. It would probably been the best 12-team playoff ever.
My argument for Georgia is this. I gamble on football a lot. I'm pretty sure everybody on here should have heard that by now. My biggest argument for Georgia is Georgia would have been favorites against every team except maybe Michigan, and even that would have been close. That would have been within a half a point. So
after Alabama had beat them, they'd still be a favorite.
Absolutely. They become more of a favorite because it's harder to beat the same team twice in the same season. We know that more than anybody.
Well, we've done it before.
Yeah, and we've also lost.
We beat Florida twice, a few times.
but I'm going by recency bias here against Georgia. But no, because what does probability tell you if you beat somebody one time and it's more of a 50-50 swap, right? The probability tells you it's going to be a greater chance that other team beats you.
We got a question for Kuz. You want to read that out, Kuz?
Yeah, can we play devil's advocate a second? What if UGA, Georgia, had beaten Alabama? Do you leave Texas out when they beat Alabama?
100%.
I think that's what changes the conversation, because at that point, Alabama becomes a 2-loss team. They're not the SEC champion at that point, so Texas's win over them means less. And then you might have FSU in instead of Alabama and Texas.
Yeah, I made that point. I mean, Texas fans need to tell Alabama thank you, because we got 2 teams in.
Yeah, potentially. Now,
Alabama drove Texas with them.
Texas may have got it anyway because they beat Oklahoma. I think recency bias plays too big of a role in this committee's head sometimes.
Yeah.
Texas smoked Oklahoma State in that bowl game, in that conference championship game, rather. And that, it was pretty impressive. Now, you can argue Oklahoma State's really not that good. Maybe you're right. But either way, they smoked them. So it was an impressive win, right? And the committee had that on their mind going into that meeting. So that probably helped as well. But I do agree that had Georgia won the SEC, that Texas win at Tuscaloosa, even though it's still a great win, is not nearly as impressive.
No.
Yeah.
Especially since, like you and Jonathan brought up, Alabama just struggled with Auburn, who wasn't a very good Auburn team at that point.
Danny Cannell's been one of the most outspoken people about this issue. You guys probably have seen that.
He's a Florida State alumnus.
Well, let me tell you a little funny story about Mr. Cannell and his Florida State team from 1993. They were a 1-loss team who got in the national championship game over an undefeated team in 1993. Guess who that undefeated team was?
West Virginia?
Yes. We got passed over for a 1-loss Florida State team in 1993.
There you go. It's happened before. And everybody said this was the first time.
So they were the team. They were the Alabama of 1993.
That's when you only had 2 teams playing for it usually.
And Danny Cannell was the quarterback on that team. Apparently, he forgot about it.
They were voting on the title still since then.
Right, but they made that the de facto national championship game. That Nebraska Florida State game that year was the de facto national title game, and it could have been. West Virginia, Nebraska were the only 2 undefeated teams that year. But West Virginia didn't make it in that game. They chose Florida State instead. Now, both teams ended up losing, so it didn't matter at the end of the day, I don't think. Or did Florida State win that year? I can't remember.
Florida State beat Nebraska, I think.
Did they? Okay. Well, they shouldn't have even been in the game in the first place.
It was Bobby Bowden's first national championship.
Nebraska would have probably been the national champs because I don't think we'd have beat them. But nonetheless.
Now, Nebraska that year wasn't that great. Now, you fast forward to 1995, as probably the greatest college football team of all time.
Come on, Nebraska.
I just find it ironic that Danny Cannell, who played on a team who was actually on the other end of that coin, other side of that coin at one time in his life, apparently don't remember that. But I get it. I would be mad too if it was. If it was my team, I'd be.
Danny Cannell is probably one of the biggest hypocrites I've ever seen on TV. He says some pretty asinine stuff. He's about as bad as Stephen A.
So, do you think, in all seriousness, do you think Georgia lines up full health, starters in? How is that Florida State game going to look?
Georgia, Florida State?
Yeah.
Honestly, Georgia's probably going to smoke them.
Yeah.
Unless Florida State uses this as major motivation and comes out and plays like their pants are on fire, or
how many players could possibly sit for that game for Georgia for the NFL draft? How many? That's what I'd like to know.
Brock Bowers is probably going to be the biggest name if they sit somebody, or if he sits. But I don't know if Georgia does not have a record of players sitting. They've had a couple, but not many. I don't know. I don't think it would matter.
I think they almost got beat by Cincinnati. They had a bunch of players sit.
That was the one. Yeah, but their whole defense sit that year. So yeah, I take that back. You're absolutely right.
They played the G5 school. I don't know if it's Cincinnati or somebody else.
It was Cincinnati. I do remember that now. You're right. I think
I know Auburn had a bunch of players set out for that Central Florida game, and they got beat by Central Florida in that Peach Bowl.
Yeah, because that was a game JT Daniels put up like 1,000 yards, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Central Florida tried to claim the national championship after beating Auburn.
Oh, they
tried
claimed
to claim they are.
I know what they
by
got.
God, I was in the bounce house for a game this year. It's in big, huge letters on the front of their press box. 2017 national champions.
Yep, well, Mickey Mouse National Championship. Congratulations.
Mickey Mouse.
They own it, man. Hey, it's been great publicity for them, though. You got to give them that.
Now, I hate to say this, but would you, if Alabama wins the national championship, only because of who Mickey Mouse is associated with, ESPN, does that make this a Mickey Mouse national championship?
No, because it's the playoff.
Okay.
They didn't win theirs in the playoff. They supposedly won theirs in a mid-major bowl.
I'm just asking because the association with ESPN.
Their biggest claim to that is that they beat Auburn, and Auburn had beaten Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah, I got you.
And they did have one, the Collie Matrix, had them ranked number 1 at the end of the season. And the Collie Matrix is apparently one of the analytical whatever.
People that make a vote?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
The
Yeah.
Godfather has the nickname today is the Georgia Hedge Pissers. All right, go ahead.
There have been other teams that have been declared national champs by the Collie Matrix who didn't claim it. So there was one year Alabama, I think, was even number 1 according to the Collie Matrix. But did you see them? Do you see them going around claiming that national championship?
UCF, it was the way NIL money. I'm sure.
It was marketing, man. It's all marketing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
UCF is great at that, by the way.
Alabama catches a lot of hell because we've claimed national titles from the 20s and the 30s, but back then, all the media outlets recognized the Rose Bowl winner as the national champion. So we're not the only team that claims those, but we get digged on about it because we got so many.
There was one though.
There was one, 1941.
Yeah, that one.
That one I could probably let them have, but in 1966 we were undefeated, and Notre Dame and Michigan State played their tie, and they didn't give us a national title. So if they'll give us 66, I'll give them back 41. How about that?
Yeah.
West Virginia got 1922, don't they?
Could have. They won't claim it, but they could, I guess, if they wanted to.
Oklahoma State went back and claimed one from the war, tried to take armies away from them. That's just like Okeechobee State try to take a war title away. Everybody's players are going off to war and they're playing for Army, and we're going to claim the national title.
Yeah, that is wild.
Okeechobee State. I done choked again.
So, Coos, what do you think about your bowl game?
I like it, man. It's better than playing Toledo or
I give you that.
Who we were projected to play at one time.
You could have been playing in the Neil Brown Bowl in Birmingham and played in Troy.
That too. Yeah, I mean, that's why I was saying earlier before you got on, all this controversy, SEC getting all these teams in and let's not forget Ole Miss, Missouri playing the New Year's Six games.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough SEC teams to fill all the bowl slots. So West Virginia was able to slide in one of those bowls because the Big 12 had more teams than they had slots for.
We had so many teams in the Great Bowls that we allowed y'all to come in there.
So West Virginia was called up to Duke's Mayo Bowl and was like, look, man, it's a Charlotte Bowl. We have a lot of alumni in Charlotte. Our fans will be there.
I saw
they saw it as a great opportunity.
I saw your little video with the Duke's Mayo.
Duke's Mayo.
Yeah, man.
I love Duke's Mayo, man. It's my favorite.
Cool.
Duke's Mayo Bowl.
They asked Neil Brown today. It was funny. He did his bowl game presser today, and he was on Zoom because he's in Vegas at the Hall of Fame stuff because Zach Frazier's up for some award out there. But anyway, and they asked him if he liked mayonnaise. He said, "I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one." He wouldn't answer it. So apparently he doesn't like mayonnaise.
Did you guys see where Iowa's defense coordinator won the Broyles Award, top assistant?
Who's?
Iowa defense coordinator.
Oh, Iowa's. Oh, he should.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah.
Iowa's defense had an offense, they'd be national champions.
You're probably right.
Oh, shit, man. That's one of the best defenses I've ever seen. Phil Parker should be getting a head coaching job somewhere.
That's a damn 92 Alabama defense.
And they've been like that for the last 2 or 3 years, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. They're winning games like 8-5 and shit.
And they,
it doesn't even make sense.
I think it was like South Dakota. They played South Dakota and beat them 5-3 or some shit. I ain't making that shit up, man.
I know. It's crazy. And the fact that, how can they be that bad on the offense, though? It's almost
Kirk Ferentz is showing nepotism to his son over there. They need to get rid of the Ferentz.
Well, he's gone. His son's gone. He stepped down already.
Man, I think Kirk Ferentz is the most overrated coach of all time, man. Everybody tries to prop him up.
I don't know, man. It can't be an easy place to recruit.
No, absolutely not.
And he's won a lot of games there, man.
They used to win a lot under Hayden Fry before that, though.
That's true. That's true.
What about Parker to replace Neil Brown?
Phil Parker for Neil Brown.
What's the deal with Neil Brown? Is Brown in or out? I haven't been keeping up with it lately.
Oh, he's in now.
I figured he would be.
Yeah, there's still a segment of the fan base that don't want him because they're saying 8-4 one time. That's fair. I mean, he needs to do this every year now, right?
Yeah.
I think that's another thing the SEC could have helped out. They could have helped out Neil Brown keep his job, put him in a nice little bowl like that. People forget that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
I'd sure hell rather go to Charlotte than Birmingham. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah, it would have been a lose-lose situation if we play somebody like Toledo in a bowl game.
It would have been Troy. Y'all have been playing Troy.
Yeah, that would have been bad if we got beat by Troy. Oh,
his former team.
Yeah, because the guy who's the coach there now was an assistant under Neil there, and I've had former players tell me that John Summerall is really the reason most of those players went to Troy in the first place, that Neil won with. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know if it's true or not, but that was one person's opinion.
Speaking of former
I've actually had two tell me that, not just one. But.
Speaking of former teams, Steve Sarkisian's playing his former team in Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good storyline.
You got a comment for us, Jonathan?
Yeah. Who do you think wins, Louisville or USC? I remember Mary Caleb Fingernail Williams, whatever you guys call him, is sitting, so keep that in mind. Who do you guys think wins that game?
What's he going to pay on his fingernails? I ain't playing.
I ain't playing. 1%. I want 1% of the team.
That's right, 1%. Just like Warwick Dunn. I've done absolutely nothing to deserve it. Unlike Warwick Dunn, who was fighting for domestic abuse victims, right?
I don't know. I don't think that's even an interesting game without Caleb Williams playing to be in.
Man, that's pretty broad. They had Clemson projected. That would have been pretty nice to see the Riley brothers go head to head if it had been Clemson and USC, right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you saw that message I sent you, right?
About
so a guy told me that you seem like you were 3 sheets in the wind every time you get on here.
Oh yeah, I've already drank a whole bottle.
I was like, man, you sure you ain't talking about me? They said Jonathan seemed like he was 3 sheets in the wind the other night. Said he looked like he was drunk on there. So he was slurring.
Dude,
I couldn't believe that.
it's amazing what you see on the internet. So yeah, dude, I wish I had time to drink like that. But yeah.
So
all right.
So we're going to Alamo Bowl or we're going to Charlotte Bowl with Kuz?
Well, I mean, I fly out to Vegas the 29th, so I don't think I'm flying out to Charlotte.
You still going to Alamo Bowl or no?
Well, it depends on if anybody else goes. I mean, if I'm going to be the only one going, then probably not, because I'm going to go to sleep so I can fly to Vegas the next day and for New Year's.
You might need to go to sleep to sleep that damn liquor bottle off that you got in your hand there. You got that.
I know.
You got that Mountain Dew Spike, don't you?
Yeah.
Chris don't know what we're talking about. This guy sent me a message, Chris, in the comment section. That guy sent me a message. He said that I hope you know that Jonathan guy is 3 sheets in the wind every time he's on your show. And so I sent a screenshot of it to Jonathan.
Dude.
Yeah, he's spiking his Mountain Dew with a Fireball. By the way, that's pretty good, just so you know.
Mountain Dew
Fireball? Never had that.
Fireball and Mountain Dew.
Oh, man. You got me something to try now.
You know what I did have for the first time the other day?
Fireball's good with anything. But anyway.
This past Saturday I had Don Julio for the first time. Not bad.
I haven't had that yet. I have to try it.
Yeah, the 1942. It's a little expensive, but pretty good.
Yeah, I probably won't be buying it. I'll have to find somebody else that's got it.
Yeah.
We can see Bull married Caleb Williams ain't no Bryce Young, right? He didn't show up for the bowl. He's not going to show up for the bowl game, right? Don't you say it?
Yeah, he's not playing the bowl game.
This Fred Bagley says he's going to flop worse than Ryan Leaf.
I got a feeling Drake may end up playing.
I think he will.
Because number one, he's not going to be happy with how the season ended against NC State, and two, Charlotte is his hometown.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I don't drink, but I wouldn't say I do. I drink maybe once every 2-3 weeks, and it's usually 1 or 2 drinks.
Yeah, he's probably not going to get on the YouTube video.
No, I don't.
When he's plastered.
No.
Do you think the way Caleb Williams has acted this last year, some of the outbursts and some of the ways he's carried himself is going to hurt him in the draft?
No.
How do you think he's going to do in that Wonderlic test? Will they still give that?
Yeah, they still give it.
He's going to score 2?
I mean, I don't know how smart he is, but I can tell you, I don't think being emotional is going to impact his draft stock.
Well, it should maybe, because you see what happened to Vince Young. You see what happened to Vince Young. His ass went and had a meltdown. People in the stands heckling him, and he lost his damn noodle and ended up out of the NFL in 2 years. You don't remember that?
I do remember, but I don't think it's a fair comparison.
Lori said we have a Skittle shitter in here. Really? Where's he at?
But
no, I wasn't drunk on the last show. Well, maybe they were talking about you, Cajones Kelly. I don't know. I had Ryan Thibodeau on here. Maybe they thought you and Jonathan were the same person.
Maybe.
Because you both look like donkeys.
Oh, here we go. So what do you guys think about all the quarterback transfer portal stuff?
Oh, my God, it's crazy, man. Absolute chaos.
It's going to be a lot of teams that are going to look real different next year. Real different. And Texas A&M lost the number 1 recruit, the defensive lineman Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
You got a lot of good quarterbacks in the portal.
Too many to count, dude.
Yeah.
Who all's in the portal? Can you give me a few? Maybe
Will Howard from Kansas State.
Cam Ward from Washington State.
He might be the best one in there.
I think he is. The
Ohio
quarterback.
Ohio State quarterbacks in there?
Yeah, Kyle McCord. Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah. Riley Leonard from Duke.
Yeah, he's a starter.
Kyle McCord's a starter, and he's leaving Ohio State?
Yes.
I guess
Riley
he's
Leonard.
getting a lot of shit from losing that game or something.
Riley Leonard, MJ Morris from NC State, which he's not.
Yep.
He's a young quarterback.
Let me bring him up.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head some other ones.
You make it snappy too, boy. You bring it up.
Yeah, okay.
Chris says next time you stutter over there, he's on get your cross and give you one of the mountaineer bitch slaps.
He's so stupid.
Well, you're an instigator, big time.
All right, so right now you got Kyle McCord, QB from Ohio State, Walter Nolan, who is the number 1 freaking recruit out of Texas A&M, the defensive lineman, Dylan Gabriel for Oklahoma, Dante Moore from UCLA, Cameron Ward from Washington State, Will Howard out of Kansas State. I forgot about Tobias Merriweather, the wide receiver out of Notre Dame, Riley Leonard, the QB from Duke, DJ Ungulale, again, QB from Oregon State, who was previously at Clemson, obviously. Grayson McCall, that's a big one too, by the way.
That is a good one.
Coastal Carolina, and then another really good one, left tackle Overton, defensive lineman, Texas A&M, another highly touted recruit.
I thought DJ Ungulale couldn't transfer again unless
he's a grad transfer.
He's a grad transfer.
He's gonna be a grad transfer. He can be like Stetson, not Stetson, but what's
JT Daniels.
JT, he's gonna be like JT Daniels, man. He's gonna play for everybody. Hey, JT Daniels is in the bowl, ain't he?
No, he had to medically retire.
Oh, okay.
That sucks.
Too many concussions, man.
Man, that really
He's going into coaching.
That's good.
Yeah, he'll be great at it, I think.
And then the Texas Tech quarterback I saw here, Tyler Shaw, committed to Louisville. So
who did?
Texas Tech quarterback.
Tyler Shaw.
Yeah. He committed to Louisville today.
Also, Blake Shapen from Baylor. Well, he said he was going to go in the portal, but I don't know that he's actually went in yet. Jake Spavital was supposed to try to convince him to stay, so we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, I think that McCall from Coastal Carolina. People don't watch it. That is a really big pickup.
Yeah, my friend Paul loves him. He said he would take him at West Virginia in a heartbeat. But I like the guy we got, but Grayson McCall's a really good quarterback. It'd be hard to turn him away.
How long do y'all think Jimmy Chadwell's going to be at Liberty, by the way, since he went undefeated?
Not long.
Jesus, there's no way.
He'll end up getting a power. I'm surprised he don't have a Power 5 job already, to be honest.
I think it's misleading, though. I think he done good at Coastal Carolina, but I think Liberty was already pretty stacked for him when he got there.
Yeah, but go undefeated, I think it's no easy task in any scenario.
Well, Hugh Freeze had already built that program up for him.
Yeah, no, he did, but
I think Hugh Freeze is probably wishing he was back at Liberty right now.
I mean, Mike Shula built it up for Nick Saban.
Hugh Freeze will do fine at Auburn. He anybody that thought he was going to come in year one and dominate the SEC was on track.
I mean, Nick Saban went 7-6 his first year,
losing to good old Louisiana.
Yeah, at the time they were Northeast Louisiana.
Yeah, God, I don't want to ever.
I remember that. They come in on school buses.
West Virginia could have got Hugh Freeze potentially last year had they not, but that is what it is.
Well, how are you feeling about it, Chris?
About what?
Do you think Neil Brown is the solution long term, or do you think this is just a?
I can't. I'll be honest. I don't know the answer to that, man.
I think it might be somewhat of a mulligan for him. I think down the road he's going to get fired in a couple of years.
He's not done enough yet to make me feel confident, but I also don't think you can fire a guy after going 8-4.
No,
what year are we in?
This was his fifth.
So and I agree with you. He goes 8-4. I don't think you can fire him.
What if it was Alabama and went 8-4?
Oh,
would you say the same thing? I know
Yeah.
the Alabama administration would disagree with you probably.
Well, 1 year of going 8-4 at Alabama is probably good, but if you win the national championship.
Yeah, but this is like Neil Brown's best year so far, right?
Yeah, it is.
So
but I mean,
he just got to 8-4. It wouldn't have probably lasted at Alabama.
Yeah, he wouldn't have had 5 years to do it, but we're not. We don't have the same expectations as Alabama does. It's a different.
Maybe y'all don't, but I think y'all should, man. I think
we don't have the resources to have that. So, I mean, I'm not saying we should, and I'm not saying we don't have high expectations. We have higher expectations than 8-4, but we don't have national championship every year or bust aspirations. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're realistic about who we are. At least most of us are.
Does Dylan Gabriel follow Levy to Mississippi State?
That's what I've been thinking. Who knows?
I guess Dexter Fuqua is the resident skittle shooter that they're talking about. He's there going back and forth. He asked the lawyer if she ever played sports. I never have understood why people ask that question when they're losing a debate. Just because someone didn't play football at a collegiate level or something doesn't mean they don't know just as much about sports as someone else that played college football. Wouldn't you agree?
Not every coach has played the sport.
Mike Leach.
Yeah.
I mean,
perfect example.
There's a ton of coaches that haven't played the sport.
Was it Hugh Freeze? Didn't Hugh Freeze? He was like or Gus Malzahn. One of them two didn't play football, right?
I think it was Hugh Freeze. I think he played college baseball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was Freeze. It was one of those guys.
Did you guys know that Tyler Buckner played lacrosse?
I didn't even know he played lacrosse until
I didn't either.
I'm in the transfer portal
as a lacrosse player. I was like, we beat a team with a lacrosse player as a quarterback. That's how good we are.
I mean, when you shit the bed against South Florida, there's a story right there.
Where was he at this year?
Alabama.
He was the starter in the South Florida game where we only won 17-3.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the guy that transferred from Notre Dame, right?
Yeah.
If you shit the bed against South Florida, then that's what happens to you. You end up getting relegated to lacrosse.
He was supposedly a really good lacrosse player. So
he wasn't a really good football player. I know that.
I'll give you that.
He might be the reason Brian Kelly left Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Hero con time Deion Sanders is losing his staff now.
Oh my God, they're leaving like faster than you can blink.
The con is up, man.
Players too. He's losing commitments too.
Big time.
They've had a lot of decommitments.
His 2 quarterbacks for 24 and 25 already decommitted.
Dexter Facru says that Caleb Williams is still the best quarterback in the nation. Y'all agree with that?
I can see the argument for that.
He's just on a crappy team.
Yeah, no defense.
With a crappy coach.
But I definitely can see the argument for sure to be made. He's a
talented quarterback. I just don't like him.
Lincoln Riley is a good offensive coordinator, and that's it, in my opinion. I don't think him hiring a UCLA defensive coordinator is going to save him.
I don't think he's a bad coach. I just don't think he's a great coach.
Yeah,
he did okay at Oklahoma.
He might be better somewhere in the middle, like you say. He might be better in a mid-level school like a Southern Miss or something like that.
We took Oklahoma to the college football playoff 3 times, right?
Yeah,
he did. They got blew out 3 times.
No, one game they were winning overtime, I believe, right, against was it Ohio State? Maybe
No, it was Georgia.
or Georgia.
Yeah.
The
Georgia.
thing is, what was so epic about that is they were up 31-14 at one time, and they blew that lead because they had no defense.
Yeah, that's when they had Baker Mayfield, right?
Yep, they lost 52-51 or some shit.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield played a hell of a game too, like crazy game. If they would have had just a subpar defense, they would have won that
Oklahoma
game.
fans were still irked about that because right before halftime, he squib kicked it and allowed Georgia to get in field goal range because they were down 31-14, and instead of going down 31-14 at half, they kicked that field goal, and that field goal is what ended up costing them the game, really.
That's what made the kicker with the glasses boy famous.
Yeah. I used to hate that guy, man. He never lived, man.
Your chat room is crunk, by the way.
Yeah, they are. They are on one.
Yeah, I can't even click on any of them because then they're being super vulgar, man. I might start booting some people, I reckon.
But they jumped on the USC guy.
They're giving him a waterboarding.
Yeah. He's getting the Coos treatment tonight.
You got to look at it this way, Dexter.
Oh, man.
Dexter, you are learning what a skittle shitter is tonight. You can take that back to your family and your friends.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And find out, what a USC skittle shitter is.
Coos, what bowl game are you really interested in watching?
Well, oh my God, I can't remember what the bowl, but the Georgia Florida State one obviously intrigues me because I want to see if Florida State uses this as motivation or do they just fold.
Yeah,
and same with Georgia. Really, Georgia might be pissed off too. Nobody's talking about them now all of a sudden, right?
Another good point. Yeah,
well, it's going to be the pissed off bowl, right?
And there was another one too.
Left out bowl.
The Pop-Tarts Bowl looked like a good one. Kansas State against
Pop-Tarts.
Who were they playing? God,
actually a pretty lucrative bowl. They just give it a shitty ass.
Yeah, it's all about the sponsorship. The Duke's Mayo Bowl is a pretty decent bowl, but the sponsorship names are what it's all about.
Remember when the Mobile, Alabama Bowl was called the Dollar General Bowl? Like they actually had Dollar General as a sponsor. I'm like, y'all know they're gonna grill the hell out of y'all. It's already a lower tier bowl that people make fun of. You gonna call it the Dollar General Bowl? Really?
Yeah, you definitely threw gas on that fire, bro.
They screwed themselves on that for sure, man. Might as well
I'm trying to find who they're playing.
I would love to see if Dylan Gabriel plays. I'd love to watch the Oklahoma and Arizona game. How much Arizona's improved.
That's the one. Yeah, that one too.
Even without Dylan Gabriel, seeing Jackson Arnold would be another big hype for a lot of people. It makes me want to actually go to the game, almost for that reason.
Look here, Contime's girlfriend decommitted.
Oh,
see, I know. Coming in from JD Big Mouth.
Hey, I tell you, the Texas Bowl looks pretty good. Texas A&M and Oklahoma State. That should be a good game.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you which one I'm least. I think it won't even be a game. Quote me now, man. I think Ohio State's going to drag Missouri up and down the field.
Interesting. I haven't seen Missouri
really
play, but are they not very good?
They're pretty good, but they're nowhere, in my opinion.
On the
They're
same
not
level?
gonna be able to keep up with Ohio State. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that Alamo Bowl, that actually might be the best bowl of the whole season, right there.
It actually could. I believe it could be.
I've noticed that the media might have got a hold of some of the stuff that's been being said about Nick Saban not winning the Coach of the Year award that many times. They've been pushing him sort of towards the end about how this was his greatest coaching job this year.
Yeah.
But I would say Jed Fish has probably had the best coaching job this year at Arizona.
I actually got to vote on that, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
So
really?
I'm a member of the FWAA, and I actually voted earlier today.
Who'd you vote for?
Hell, I don't even remember now. I know I had Jed Fish second.
Oh, yeah? Jeff
I didn't have
Traylor.
Nick in there just because.
Jonathan voted for Jeff Traylor.
Hey, hell yeah, I would.
Who did I vote for?
UTSA all the way, baby.
Dang
They're
it.
playing the Marshall Thunder and Herd. Couz's cross-state rival they refused to play.
Shut up.
You scared of the Marshall?
No, we're not scared.
Okay, I lied.
They beat them 12 times, man.
I lied. I think Oregon's going to destroy Liberty.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
I won't even talk about that one, though.
I can't remember who I voted for. His name has escaped my brain totally.
I mean, Washington's head coach has got to be in the mix.
That's who I voted for, Kellen DeBoer. I voted him number 1, Jed Fish number 2. I don't remember the rest of them, but yeah, that was my top 2.
That dude, yeah.
So I just want to ask Dexter real quick. I don't know if he was here.
I voted for Deion Sanders.
What is
Shut up.
What is I want to ask Dexter real quick. You know, I don't think he was here earlier, but what is Caleb Williams painting on his fingernails for the bowl game? Since he's not playing, is he going to paint "I quit" or "I tapped out" or "I'm a bitch"? I mean, I was just curious. Anyway, what was you saying, Chris?
I said I voted for Deion for Coach of the Year.
Man,
He wasn't even actually.
no more on my show, man, ever again.
He actually wasn't even nominated, so it didn't matter. But I just wanted to get a rise out of you.
Yeah, you did.
No, I think the Broyles Award should have went to Alex Grinch, but that's just my opinion.
Really.
Has the coach that got fired ever won it?
They need to broil his ass. They need to broil his ass, all right.
Well, you know where he landed at today, right?
No, where did he land?
Nick Saban,
JPC, you didn't know?
Nick Saban car wash.
Supposedly he was spotted in Tuscaloosa.
Oh Lord.
He gonna go to the car wash and get cleaned up, man. He gonna be
No,
like Steve Sarkisian, man. He gonna come
I'm
back.
joking. He ain't coming to Tuscaloosa, man.
I heard he's going to UT San Antonio. Well, I heard
He ain't bringing his ass down here.
he's gonna be a road runner.
Nick Saban would be lucky if he gets a job down here at UTSA one day.
Yeah.
I'll allow him to be Jeff Traylor's defensive coordinator.
So I missed it. Well, I mean, who did you say you voted for again, Kuz?
Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, Washington's head coach.
They say he might be up for some NFL jobs.
He's
Wouldn't
probably going to be up. Yeah, he's going to be up for some jobs. Probably whoever the hell the Panthers have.
You didn't vote
because
for
they
Nick
fired.
Saban, man?
I did not.
Why would you
Sorry.
vote for Nick Saban?
Because this was his best coaching job.
It was. I personally.
You could say that every year, though. That's the
That's
problem.
what I'm saying. He's won the national title 6-7 times. And he's only got 1 or 2.
To me, that award needs to go to a coach that exceeded expectations or done more with less, or is in a tough spot. I mean, Kevin DeBoer's only been there 2
He
years,
gets punished for being good.
and he's to a degree that's somewhat accurate, kind of like Florida State.
That's life,
Florida State ain't good though. They got punished because they suck.
dude. I like that. That was smooth the way you worked that in there. They're like Florida State.
There
He did that with no pause too. He was like,
I know
yeah, like
he did.
Florida State.
wasn't no reverberation in his voice or nothing.
I thought it fit like a glove, man. Sorry,
Fit like O.J. Simpson, right?
that's right.
If it don't
Glove
fit,
don't
you gotta
fit. You
quit.
must have quit.
Man, they are jumping on this dude in the chat. You guys, man.
Hey, I got to give him props for hanging in.
Yeah, Dexter, won't you bring some USC?
I'd have got mad and left by now.
USC skill
Oh.
shit, man. Bring
I
us
would
some
if I'm
USC
serious. I probably
fans
would.
up here. Nah, you talked about leaving, but you didn't go.
I know. I talk a big game, don't I?
You stayed.
Tennessee, Iowa. That's
I also told you I wasn't coming back anymore, and here I am twice.
Oh yeah, there we go.
What's the name? What's the heavyweight champion's name?
Which one? The head of the table?
No, the boxing champion.
Oh, Tyson Fury.
Yeah, you like Tyson Fury, man. People knock your ass down. You know, they think you're down, man. They're celebrating. Oh shit, he got.
No, he wasn't down. I thought he was dead when he come back.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So did Deontay Wilder. You see a look on his damn face when he got up? He's like damn Undertaker done come up or some shit.
Speaking of Undertaker, did you see him giving out the Big 12 title belt to
Oh yeah.
Queen Ewers? And Brett Yormark getting booed by the Texas fans?
That
Yeah.
Golly.
they
R.I.P.
did it right.
Rest in peace, Big 12. I guess they're still
Yeah.
out of here.
Dude, has there been a bowl less relevant that no one will ever talk about than Tennessee versus Iowa? I didn't even know they were in a bowl game. Like nobody has talked about that
That's
bowl
gonna be
game
hard to watch.
anywhere.
That's gonna be like watching Florida State and Louisville.
I don't know though. It's kind of it is intriguing a little bit because you got an offensive guru and a good offensive team against this great defensive team and the best defensive coach arguably in America. I think it makes for a decent storyline if you like that kind of football.
I think the final score is going to be like 7-4.
You think Tennessee's only going to score 7?
I don't think anybody.
Yeah. Tennessee only scored 10 on Georgia. So.
Yeah, Tennessee has not looked. They've been very up and down. If they come in there
like
and have a bad game,
it looked like they're limping to the finish line a little bit.
yeah, they definitely were.
They dragging that foot, man, like a bad horror villain.
Boy, North Carolina did. They started out 6-0, man.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Shit, Duke started out pretty hard. Now they just fizzled out right into the Birmingham Bowl.
Yeah, right into their coach leaving.
Yeah, you're right on that.
I think that was I don't think they really wanted that guy. I think they wanted Mark Stoops, and then the fans showed their ass down there like Tennessee fans did.
They haven't interviewed anybody for that Duke job yet, have they? So I heard they were looking to interview Brent Venables, but
I also heard Tony Gibson's in the running for that too, I believe.
Yeah,
You're trying to cause a shitstorm, man.
Well, Brent Venables' family, they grew up in the state.
Yeah, that's
in the Carolinas. Not
there.
In North Carolina. Not in North Carolina specifically, but the Carolinas is all the same. One Carolina is the same as the other Carolina. They don't like to hear that, but that's the way it is.
I'm gonna be coos tonight. They're gonna grill the hell out of me.
Just like West Virginia and Virginia people, they all the same.
Shut up. We're the best Virginia, baby.
That's it. I like
we're not
that.
West Virginia. We're best Virginia.
Best Virginia. It's like Alabama.
That needs to be a shirt.
Like Alabama, one of the 4 best.
It's trademarked already. Actually, it is a shirt. I actually own one that says that, but now it's
Really?
trademarked. Yeah, it's trademarked now. The the basketball tournament they hold every summer.
Well, yeah.
That $1 million tournament. There's a team in it called Best Virginia, and they trademarked the name.
What? I did not know that.
Yep. Pretty clever, actually.
That does explain a lot, Fred Bagley. I didn't know Mary Caleb was from Baltimore. I thought he was from Washington, D.C.
Well, so is Dexter Fuqua. He said that's why he's not going nowhere. It's because he's from Baltimore. I guess if you're from Baltimore, you don't go anywhere.
I wouldn't want to live in Baltimore.
Skin?
I wouldn't admit to that shit if I was you. I'd keep that to myself because Baltimore's a shithole.
Look, Birmingham's not.
Birmingham's a shithole
Prime
too.
real estate.
I don't live in Birmingham. I live in
I know you don't. I know. Well, what's left of Tuscaloosa after that damn tornado? Yeah, you're right.
Alabama quit playing games up here.
Yeah.
People don't realize we used to play 3 games in Birmingham and 3 in Tuscaloosa. Up until the 1990s. And then we stopped playing games up there because Legion Field is just a cesspool.
Yeah. Yeah, that Arizona coach definitely. I mean, if he wins it, I wouldn't be shocked, and he deserves it.
Yeah, and I like him because he is the coach that we can throw in the face of the con-time groupies who say that you couldn't have done any better. And he went to Arizona. They only had 2 wins last year, something like that. Or they 1-12, 2-10, or something.
Yeah.
So
it's all about getting the right quarterback, man.
So what do you two think? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying a lot of it is getting the right quarterback. He finally got him a quarterback.
Who's that?
I don't know. I can't pronounce it. At Arizona, Fafita.
Yeah.
Fafita, I think's his name.
So you're saying that Time didn't have the right quarterback starting?
No. I think what I was saying, but
I like where you're going with
it was the missing piece, but that was a good way to trap me.
I don't know. Are you saying that's,
he's gaslighting.
That's why Arizona's doing better because they got a good quarterback, right? So Time's not doing good because he showed nepotism to his son, Sakazulu, right?
I guess you could say that. I thought it was because his offensive line sucked, but
his offensive line definitely sucks.
I heard he quit in the Washington State game. I heard he just quit.
He had a broken back, bro.
He broke his what?
He broke his back.
He broke his
spinal.
Back. He ain't got no spine.
I broke my back.
You can't break a spine if you ain't got
spinal. Remember that Mike Tyson interview? No, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
He had broken vertebrae in his back. After the season, they announced he played several games with.
Maybe if his damn daddy would recruit an offensive line and not go around transfer portal the hell out of shit, they'd have somebody. Well, let's go get someone from Montana in the transfer portal.
I couldn't help it when I heard that. When I read that story, the first thing that popped into my head was that Mike Tyson interview.
Yeah.
And I started Googling it. It was hilarious, man.
So I do got a question. This is way off story here. What do y'all think about Talia Tagovailoa's career at Maryland versus Alabama? He left Alabama when Tua left. Now he became the all-time leading passer in Maryland history. He's going to leave and go to – supposedly he's going to get drafted.
He might.
Wouldn't that be some shit to see him one day play against Tua or something like that?
That'd be a cool story.
Yeah. I just don't know if he played any really good defenses in the ACC, did he?
Well, I mean, he played some he played Ohio State. He played a couple
Ohio State shut him down. Didn't they shut him down a little bit?
Yeah, for the most part. He still had some good games though, like against pretty good teams. I mean, but look at the talent around him too. You know what I mean? His receivers. Yeah. Loxley didn't help him out a whole lot when it came to that, but
Lori said that Dexter said that Alabama's not any good. That coming from the 7-5 USC Skittle shitters.
She's probably trying to get you riled up.
I know. Like one of them schoolyard things. He said a mean thing.
I know someone that does that.
Really?
Yeah. He wears the cowboy hat.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Dexter's apparently a Longhorn fan. That's what I'm hearing. What I'm seeing in the chat, he's a Longhorn fan.
So, Dexter Fuqua, are you a Longhorn fan or are you a USC fan, my man? That rhymed.
It don't matter. They're the same. Texas and USC, they're all the same.
What?
Liberal shitholes.
Memphis plays Iowa State.
Austin in L.A. Liberal shitholes.
Yeah, Memphis. That's the bowl we could have gotten.
Yeah, Memphis.
We dodged a bullet on that one.
Talking about Liberty Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big 12 Bowl. The Big 12's bowls are garbage, man, for the most part.
Dude,
y'all were tied into the Liberty Bowl?
We are.
$35
Liberty guaranteed rate, taxed the Texas Bowl.
Bad thing
Alamo,
about that Liberty Bowl, man, is it's played outdoors and it's cold as hell.
What was the other one? Pop-Tarts Bowl is one. Kansas State got that one.
Pop-Tart Bowl.
Kansas State got that one because they were ranked ahead of us.
So I can get a lower level Alamo Dome seat for $73.
Are you shitting me?
No. That's lower level.
That's cheaper than the freaking Duke's Mayo Bowl, man.
Yeah. $73.
I paid $140.
Not bad.
Charlotte's a lot better city than San Antonio.
You better watch your damn mouth.
I can't believe that, dude. We got freaking ripped off.
I'm
pissed now. I wish you had told me that.
Better city than San Antonio. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, hang on. Where's the share screen button?
No, you know what it is? They know us West Virginia idiots will pay that much to go see our team.
Plus, it's a game that's pretty close in proximity as far as the schools go, geographically speaking.
Oh, yeah, look at that right there. $73.
Oh, that's in the corner, though. Look at section.
So you got like the 5 and 400s in the middle on that side.
Look at 131. That's where I'd be sitting.
Almighty. 131.
No,
where the hell is that at? 131.
Other side.
$196.
Okay, I feel better now. I paid 146.
And mouse won't move
So
around.
if I get a ticket to the Alamo Bowl, we gonna go.
There's $88 for a corner. I mean, I'd sit in the corner. I ain't going nowhere with you. I'd slap the shit out of you if I saw you anywhere.
I know better than that. I've seen videos of y'all together.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
He loves me.
I don't know about that.
He follows me around.
Follows you for. See, look at section 110.
Come here.
I mean, that's not bad. 174 for a lower level.
Fred Bagley says, DC, Baltimore, same cesspool.
Oh, man.
That's
they're like two peas in an effed up pod. DC and Baltimore were out there hand in hand, stinking up the whole damn East Coast.
Oh, man.
Taking shits.
Did we ever figure out what Dexter was? Like who he roots for?
Dexter, who's your team? Quit being scared.
Dexter's one of my favorite shows.
Oh, he's a Texas fan.
Yeah, man. They come back with Dexter, man, and they done one season and they just cut it off. What's up with that, man?
Yeah, they wanted to end it. I think they wanted to somehow put an ending to it, the whole thing.
I didn't like the way the original ended.
Well, they didn't either. That's why they redid it. Did another season of it.
What's the West Virginia bowl game called? The
Duke's Mayo Bowl. The winning coach gets doused in mayonnaise.
Yeah, screw that.
I think I'd rather lose in that case. I hate mayonnaise.
Apparently, Neil Brown don't like it either because he wouldn't answer the question.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said I'll plead the fifth.
I've seen tickets on here for $164.
But he did say he would gladly take the mayo bath if they win. So
yeah, $164 for a good seat.
I've never been. Believe it or not, I've never been to a bowl game in my life. So this was. It's
look. The only one I've been to was the one in Jacksonville when Kentucky played NC State a couple of years ago, and that was during COVID years. So there was like 60 people there. It felt like, but that was a bowl game. I've been to plenty of them here. Obviously, Texas A&M, Alabama, Texas. But the damn Spurs game I went to doesn't. That I never been so damn close, dude.
That was cool. I saw the video.
Good.
By the way,
Lord.
what was it? Was it cool to see Victor Wembanyama play?
Oh yeah, and I get to see Derrick Rose. Dude, I'm talking close. It feels like you're not even watching an NBA game, right? Because you're right there behind these guys. Way different. I don't know if I could experience a game any other way in the NBA like that. Because it's too nice.
I'm not really an NBA fan, but my daughter's been wanting to go to a game, and I want to get her to one.
Dexter still ain't answered your question yet.
What is it? Yeah, it's a Texas fan.
He's a Texas fan?
Yeah, he's a Texas fan. But yeah, now seeing Wembanyama like that, dude. But I will say this: those tickets to be that close, it puts you a little bit behind. So I paid, I think it was like $640 a ticket. Ooh. Yeah,
we had bought tickets last year. I didn't pay that much. I was sitting in the nosebleeds, but we were going to take my daughter to Charlotte to see Charlotte play. She wanted to see what's his name?
Lonzo?
Yeah, LaMelo Ball.
Or LaMelo. I can't keep up with him.
Anyway, I think it's LaMelo. It's one of them. The one that plays for Charlotte.
Yeah.
She wanted to see him. And damned if he didn't get hurt a couple weeks before the game.
And they got Brandon Miller there from Alabama now, doing really good.
So we ended up not going. We ate the tickets because she didn't want to go anymore.
Y'all were talking about con time earlier. Y'all think con time lasts more than one more year?
Yeah, they don't.
I think I'll be gone after next year.
No,
I think he's there to coach his kids.
Oh, you mean like he'll just leave and go coach somewhere else? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about he's gonna get his ass fired.
He ain't gonna get fired. You know how much money he's bringing in?
Oh gosh,
he's bringing in too much money.
Let's just say if he wasn't in Colorado, he would get fired next year.
Yeah, if he was in like an actual team that had expectation, yeah.
That's probably why he went to Colorado.
How many games did he win next year, do you think? Another three or four, maybe?
I think he'll be in a very similar situation. I think he'll be at like 5. I still don't think he goes to a bowl game.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think he's probably going to regress because he's got a lot of people leaving.
Well, I want to see their schedule. I mean, they're playing a Big 12 schedule next year.
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Have they released? I'm assuming they haven't released.
They
it.
have. I don't know. I mean, I don't.
I mean,
know.
bring it
We
up
don't. They're
real
not.
quick.
We don't play them. I know. The only new team we're playing is Arizona. We have to go to Arizona next year, which is
Let's
I'm
see
not
if
happy about.
let's see if
They're going to be good.
Michael brings it up. Let's see if Con Time can get back to the 4-win plateau next year.
As a matter of fact, I think Arizona's our first conference game next year. I believe.
For all you Con Time groupies out there, y'all can't say we're not fair, so we're going to look at it for you.
All right, so I got it up here for Colorado. Are they playing? Wait, who are they supposed to be playing next year? Oh, okay, the Big 12. Let's see. Let me get back over in here. I'm still kind of getting back in rhythm here. Let's see. Colorado football schedule. Oh, hang on, it went away. God almighty, stupid ass ads. There we go.
Lloyd Brogdon is right. I think if Alabama gets a rematch with Texas, I think we can win that game.
All right. So we got North Dakota State. I think they can lose. North Dakota State be balling sometimes.
You don't want to mess with North Dakota State. It's just like
Yeah.
Georgia Southern and the Nick Saban running through us like a shit horn or whatever he said.
It's at Nebraska, at Colorado State, at Arizona, Utah at home, Baylor at home, Oklahoma
North
State
Dakota
at home.
might really beat them, man. You're joking, but North Dakota State.
No, I know. Kansas, Cincinnati, at
Nebraska
Kansas.
will be better next year too.
Yeah, Nebraska will be better, I think.
At Texas Tech, at UCF.
You always have to give Matt Rule that first year. He's sort of like
Yep.
Mike Leach.
Exactly.
Mike Leach come in, have a mediocre type year, and then he turns it around.
Shit, man. I think they're back to 4 wins.
I don't see many wins on there.
I don't either.
I mean, Colorado State almost beat them last year, and this year they got to go to Colorado State.
And they got
Baylor's a toss up. He might win that one, but they got Jake Spavital now. Their offense will be better.
They're gonna lose.
I like Spavital.
So out of this schedule, who are you confident that Colorado could probably beat?
Cincinnati,
Okay,
maybe.
They could probably beat North Dakota State, even though they're a pretty powerful team.
Two.
FCS.
Colorado State. That's it.
I don't see but 3 wins on there.
I think at UCF,
Maybe UCF.
The UCF, but even then, I don't know. I'm not even
UCF's
that
recruiting
confident.
well right now. UCF's got like a top 25 recruiting
and they
class.
got to go to UCF.
Yeah, and that is a tough place to play.
So I give them 4 wins.
Oh wow, that's a tough schedule, man. Has to go to Lubbock. That's a tough game.
At Arizona,
Kansas. I'll be anxious to see how Kansas does without their offensive coordinator next year.
Yeah.
Kotelnicki was a friggin' wizard, man, when it came to offense.
Big Corners Kelly says he hears that Kyle McCord may be going to Nebraska.
Interesting.
That wouldn't. I mean, I'll be straight up honest with you. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Why? They need a quarterback, don't they?
They do, but Kyle McCord's style.
That's what they need in Nebraska. They're trying to change the culture there, ain't they? They're trying to change.
I mean, he's a pocket guy, right? I mean, he's not.
He is. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't. To me, that doesn't fit the scheme.
Matt Rule could coach him up, I think.
I think Cam Ward would fit that system better.
Man, West Virginia went after him 2 years ago, but unfortunately, he ended up at Washington State.
Got Rye Guy 1218 in the house. He's
He ended up with JT Daniels.
one of our Oregon guys. Who's Oregon playing in the bowl game, by the way? Because we got a lot of Oregon Ducks.
Liberty.
They got shafted.
What do you think about that game, Rye Guy?
No one's going to care, unfortunately, except Oregon and Liberty.
And I have nothing against Liberty. I respect them as a program. They're doing a great job, but
everybody laughed at them when
Oregon went from being almost in the CFP to playing Liberty. You know what I mean?
When Jerry Farwell decided to play major college football, the guy that founded the university, everybody laughed at him when he said that he wanted to be on par with Notre Dame, and he's on par with Notre Dame. He's in a better bowl than Notre Dame.
Can't argue that. I wouldn't say they're on par with Notre Dame, but this year they are. As far as bowl, I don't think they beat Notre Dame in head-to-head. But
where's Liberty at? In Lynchburg, Virginia?
Yeah, but what's impressive about Liberty is how quick they've done it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been building for a while. They were FCS school for a little while, wasn't
They have a really large enrollment. They have a lot of students because they have a very large online presence. I even considered going there online myself at one point.
I can't believe Kyle McCord left Ohio State. Was he a senior or grad assistant or something? Or what's the deal with that? What was he? A sophomore, junior, senior?
McCord, I'm not sure. I know he sit behind.
He was a starter in the Michigan game, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm trying to think who he sit. He sit behind their old starter for. And I'm
I
drawing a
think
blank.
he thrown that
For a couple
interception.
years.
Maybe he took a lot of heat from that interception because everybody gives us a hard time down here in the South about how we take football too seriously. But them people up there, they take it just as serious.
It's all about. They're all trying to get a bag. JBC. It's all about, man.
Yeah, it is. You're right. Did you see Alabama's schedule next year? It's a damn gauntlet.
And we got to play Wisconsin on the road,
bro. look at this. Like, hang on, let me bring Alabama's schedule up. I was looking at it.
I have a feeling at some point, JP. You know, we got Alabama on the schedule in a couple of years. I got a feeling that game's going to end up getting scratched at some point.
God!
Think so?
Because of all the
He shot bracelets for, man.
Stupid ad. Huh? Shut up. It's an ad. Oh. Anyways,
Sissy.
Here we go. We start off at Western Kentucky, then UCF, right? Then you're at Wisconsin. Then you play Georgia, at Tennessee, at LSU, Mercer, at Oklahoma, Auburn, Missouri, South Carolina, at Vanderbilt. That first half is going to be.
We actually got our week off. We got our week off earlier this year.
Yeah.
Usually it's between Tennessee and LSU, but they put Wisconsin and Georgia back to back. We had to have an off week.
Yeah.
So wait a minute.
Look at that 4-game schedule: at Wisconsin, Georgia, at Tennessee, at LSU.
Well, you laugh about USF, but they're going to a bowl game this year.
So you guys don't get your bye week before LSU again, like before Auburn, like you normally do.
Nope.
Right. It's because they had Wisconsin and Georgia back to back, so they think they thought they might need a little bit of rest after that kind of shit. That would have been a hell of a gauntlet if we had to.
Y'all normally play your FCS team right before Auburn. Next year you got to play Oklahoma before Auburn.
Yeah, at Oklahoma. That's what I'm saying.
It'll be good for you.
This is
Wait a minute, they got a lot of to be determined right here.
Well, that's just times, the dates.
Well, they don't even have the date for them.
So yeah, the date's gonna be determined because I don't know if we're gonna damn survive that shit.
Yeah, right. They're probably going to insert Missouri somewhere up in here. Jesus Christ, man, Missouri's good this year, man.
Like that's a hell of a okay. So when you look at it, at Wisconsin, Georgia, at Tennessee, at LSU, you got Mercer, and then at Oklahoma. Like that is a hell of a stretch to start a season like that.
Big Cojones Kelly wants to know, he's giving a $2 donation to see if you can pull up LSU schedule.
LSU schedule? Yeah, let me get it real quick.
He said chop chop.
Shut up. I know he didn't. Let's see here.
Guys, I'm going to have to run. I got a meeting I got to prepare for tomorrow. So,
all right, brother.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Nice talking to you again.
Good talking to you, Jonathan. We'll be in touch.
Oh, yeah.
All right, brother.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Take care.
All right, so LSU plays. Damn, they kick it off with USC. They got Nichols. They got UCLA, South Alabama.
They got both the Skittle shitters.
And they got the damn team that beat Oklahoma State, South Alabama.
You know, that game against UCLA, man, they can maybe get a little revenge because, UCLA pulled their skirt down for making fun of the uniforms.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Ed Orgeron, Eddie Ogre, he's like, them old sissy uniforms in powder blue. Little sissies running around on the field.
Look at this. They got Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Alabama, South Carolina, A&M, Florida, Arkansas. Damn. So they're kind of flip-flop. The beginning of their season, it'll still be tough, USC and UCLA.
And I hope they beat the shit out of USC.
I do too.
Just dominate them. Then they'll probably turn around and lose to Nicholls State.
Shut up. Or lose by 30 to South Alabama like Oklahoma State.
Well, they already let UAB go in there and beat them on homecoming. when they were ranked, they let
Yeah.
UAB go in there and whoop that ass. Didn't
You don't look. There's two teams you don't schedule. You don't schedule Jacksonville State either.
And you don't schedule South Alabama either.
Yeah,
That's
South-
Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Well, they did.
South Alabama's gonna whoop y'all's ass. Y'all don't get beat by 2 Alabama teams in the same year. Y'all play Auburn too, don't you? Auburn don't count because they've been annexed into Georgia.
No, they don't play Auburn this year
They don't play
or next year. No, they removed Auburn. It's going to be
Y'all got lucky. Y'all didn't have to play West Georgia.
West Georgia. That's funny, but that's a hell of a stretch though. Oklahoma, Alabama, South Carolina, A&M, and then Florida, and then to end it with Arkansas.
Yep, Sissy Blues.
Let's see here. I want to know what Georgia's schedule looks like next year because theirs was ridiculous, right? This year.
Jay Wilmoff says that is an easy schedule compared to Oklahoma's schedule.
Okay, let's look at Oklahoma's.
Well, I know you're not talking about Alabama because Alabama's probably got the toughest schedule next year. And that's why Nick Saban was so pissed off when we got stuck with those 3 teams instead of letting us keep Mississippi State when they said that they were going to do it based on geography a little bit. Mississippi State's the closest campus to Tuscaloosa.
So you got they got Temple, Houston, Tulane. So we have 2 cupcakes at the beginning. They have 3, in my opinion.
I'm really scared of Temple and Houston.
But then they got Tennessee, Alabama, Texas. That's a stretch. I'm not gonna lie. They got all of them home
All
though.
these don't have dates on them, though, so we don't know exactly when they're being played.
Yeah, I know. They're still working out the dates, I guess. But then Auburn.
Man, I don't know how y'all going to deal with those Maine Black Bears. They're only 2-10 this year, 2-9.
Maine Black Bears.
Look, they playing the Maine Black Bears. They got Maine, Temple, and Houston, and Tulane. And you call that a tough schedule, JD? Come on, brother.
They got a tough middle.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, as a whole, they don't compare to Alabama's.
Well, I don't think he's comparing it to them. Let's who did I say? Georgia? Georgia 24. These Georgia's real quick.
What you begging for, big cojones?
Oh shit.
He's begging for something. Say, outlaw, please. Please what?
So you got Georgia's got Clemson, Tennessee Tech, Alabama, Texas, Florida. They got a hell of a start. Georgia's got a brutal start.
Wow. They got Clemson.
I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I mean, well, Clemson's not going to be down next year. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know right now that I think Clemson's going to make a comeback next year.
I don't think they're making a comeback.
Yeah, I think they're going to win at least 10 games next year.
I think they win at most 9.
Yeah, they go about 10-3.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. Slap your mouth.
But seriously, Clemson and Tennessee Tech, then Alabama, Texas, and Florida.
Thunder OU says, I don't understand how Dexter's a Longhorn fan who likes Mary Caleb Williams and lives in Baltimore. I think I'm with you on that, Thunder. I think he's actually a USC fan, and he's scared to say it. So he took Texas because Texas has actually beaten Alabama. But what he didn't realize when he said that was there's actually more Oklahoma fans in here than Alabama fans.
Do you see this? Texas plays Michigan next year at Michigan.
They might get a double dose of each other, huh? Texas and Michigan end up in the national title game. Michigan beats Alabama.
Well, first of all, they're going to play the soon-to-be reigning national champions, UTSA, in the third week.
UTSA gave them a go last time.
And they're playing that at DKR.
Well, they've always played at DKR.
The UTSA game?
Yeah, they played at DKR last time.
I thought it was at UTSA.
No, they ain't gonna give y'all no home game. Y'all a bunch of mid-carders.
Man, UTSA got a nice.
We're
Alamo Dome is nice.
We're playing Marshall.
Shut up.
There's a new Marshall in town. Marshall gonna whoop that ass for you.
Yeah.
I don't get thundered by the herd.
So stupid. Any other schedules you guys want to see before I click off the schedule or stop doing them?
Mm.
You said bring the Oklahoma schedule up for next season. I did already.
We've already done Oklahoma. You want Oklahoma State? Y'all want Tulsa?
Tulsa, I mean, Oklahoma has a tough schedule, but Alabama is ridiculous next year.
That's why Nick Saban's so pissed off, man. He's like, y'all couldn't at least let me keep Mississippi State. God, leave, man. And we played Mississippi State more times than we've played any other school. So it ain't really about trying to get an easy out. It's just, damn, man. Golly.
Yeah, that schedule is hard.
Oklahoma's a tough schedule. I don't agree. I like Oklahoma, but their schedule is not as tough as Alabama's.
It's still a hard schedule. I'll say it is still a tough schedule. It's just
their
not that hard.
non-conference schedule is not that hard.
So
They play Temple, they play Tulane, they play Maine,
Houston.
None of those are that great. Now, I know Tulane's made a little headway here lately because they beat the Skittle Shooters, but Tulane shouldn't be an issue.
Damn, you got 5 straight home games. Good Lord.
Yeah, at least y'all get to play Vanderbilt. Assholes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to give you Wisconsin and Georgia back to back. You're going to have to go to Madison, go to Camp Randall, then come back home and play the team that you knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. Good Lord. And then play Tennessee, who's not – I mean, Tennessee's not going to be – I think they'll be a better team. And then LSU. Yeah, Alabama's got a rough schedule. I think Auburn won't be as down next year either. I don't think they'll be good, but I don't think they'll be as down.
So Dexter's a Cowboy fan. Well, I doubt he was a Cowboy fan a couple of years ago. He's probably one of them bandwagon fans. Dexter's one of them bandwagon fans. He goes from Texas to USC, Baltimore Ravens, maybe even the Nagasaki Egg Rolls of the Japanese American Football League.
You look like a bandwagon fan.
You look like a cock in the mouth fan.
With all your damn different teams up there on the wall.
Like someone maybe would sit their balls on your chin.
Oh. You're so stupid.
Cock fan. You're a cock fan. The real USC, South Carolina.
This is funny right here. At least LSU plays Vandy. Yeah, you're right on that.
That's why I just pulled that up.
Oh, you didn't even see it. Yeah. What is the chat talking about?
My guy says the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors seem like the Nagasaki Egg Rolls. Yeah. Well, they're talking about they're in there grilling the hell out of that dude. They're just waterboarding his ass, like for real. They've been on his ass. You need to bring some more Texas fans in here, Dexter. Dexter says he was a fan of the Cowboys when they were 1-15. Really?
Good Lord, when were they 1-15? I'm just asking because I legitimately don't know.
That was Tom Landry's last year and Jimmy Johnson's first year. I think they were back to back 1-15.
God almighty, that's horrible.
But see, I knew that because that they were so horrendous. And I'm sure that he knew that too. And so he's using that to try to make us believe that he's not a bandwagon fan. But we all know that he's a bandwagon fan.
Can Florida State beat Georgia? Absolutely not.
If Georgia has a bunch of players set out for the NFL draft, maybe. That's their only way of winning that game.
If they have like 8 people set out, yeah. It was in 1989. My bad.
I don't know what 1989. I guess he's talking about the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
So the Ducks play in Hawaii next year. Did we see Oregon Ducks schedule already?
No. You want to pull it up?
Yeah, we got a lot of Oregon fans in here. Pull up Oregon's schedule quick. Let's see what's going to happen next year. They're going to be able to get their shit together and beat the Huskies.
Let's see here.
You know we're 10-0 against Washington, right? Right, guy? If you need some advice on how to beat a Husky, just give us a call. I can't believe y'all let Washington beat y'all twice, man. I mean, Seattle's almost like a skittle shitting city.
You see it?
Yeah.
So they got at Hawaii, then they play Idaho, Texas Tech, Boise State. So pretty, I'd say first quarter of the season definitely pretty good, pretty easy. And then they got at UCLA.
Never know what you're going to get with Texas Tech or Boise State, but Boise State's been down.
They have been. At UCLA, Michigan State, Ohio State. Damn, they got at Purdue, Illinois, and they got at Michigan, Maryland, at Wisconsin, and at so you got Michigan and Ohio State.
I don't know if Oregon and Michigan have ever played each other. I don't know. That's a good question. Has Oregon and Michigan ever played each other before? Idaho and Hawaii, man. I mean, you're all over the globe with that shit.
That's what I was about to point out. Is like, damn, you were going coast to coast.
I'm surprised y'all ain't got Argentina A&M on there.
Argentina.
Damn, man, y'all going to Buenos Aires and play Argentina?
God almighty. So they go to LA to play the UCLA Bruins at Purdue. So there's no like back-to-backs that are going to kill them, at least. If you look at their away games, they're at least spread out. That's good.
Well, guy agrees with me that Seattle is definitely a skittle shitter city. That's where they had the summer of love, right? And they killed a bunch of people. Closed down the entire block of the city.
Yeah, they did.
So, just a side note, you say your wife's about to go on training for the military?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that, or is it just something they do?
No, she's learning a new position.
Well, I didn't know if it's getting ready to go to a war or something. Man.
No, nothing like that.
I guess I should have brought that up on here. My bad.
No, you're good. Learning not a new job, but a new part of her job.
Jeff Payton said Tuscaloosa County High called and said they can beat LSU too.
Probably.
Or FSU, my bad. I said LSU. They could probably beat LSU too.
All right.
No.
Is that where Welcome Formby came from, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. No, he's Northport.
I went to County High for a short time, and then I ended up transferring to Hillcrest.
That makes a lot of sense.
I just ain't have to go to Anniston, Arkansas.
Yeah.
I only know the high school name in Arkansas. Any school in Arkansas is shit.
The prestigious Anniston High School.
Prestigious Little Rock Reformatory School.
Oh, my God.
Jonathan's actually an Arkansas State fan. They're going to the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama.
My dad graduated from Arkansas State.
If you say there's not a bowl worse than the Birmingham Bowl, you haven't been to Montgomery.
Yeah.
Do not go to the Montgomery Bowl. Turn the invitation down. Do not do it. You'd be better off going to the Celebration Bowl. Richard Young says Auntie Louise is probably crying like a little girl right now. Well, that's what aunties do. You know who Uncle Lou is, by the way?
Yeah, Georgia fan.
Yeah. He banned me from his program because I called him the Hedge Pissers. You believe that?
Yeah, I do believe it.
Ain't that sort of mean, man?
You can get underneath people's skin.
That sort of mistreat me, ain't it?
No.
Come on, man. You're supposed to be my friend. I guess I'm about to show you how to drink again.
Apparently, I'm already an alcoholic.
You are. You slurring your speech right now. What did you say? Yeah. I can understand you. I think it was actually talking about Big Cojones Kelly, Ryan Thibodeau. They thought you and him were the same person. LSU got robbed with a 45.
That's it. FSU got robbed with a 45.
Oh, my bad. FSU got robbed with a 45 without a mask. I didn't know you needed a mask to rob somebody. No, you didn't even need a gun. All we needed was the committee.
All I needed was committee. We just needed a couple of people that didn't watch college football the whole year to.
You know, Dexter, you better be glad Alabama won. And you better be glad Alabama's in. Because if we weren't in, y'all wouldn't be in either.
That's true.
They wouldn't have put Texas in without Alabama.
Nope.
All right, brother, look like you're getting tired. You ready to cut this thing off?
Yeah, I'm good.
Dexter, I agree with you. Florida State did get robbed. The only way Florida State proved that is they blown players that beat Georgia. And that still don't prove it. Because they ain't beating Alabama, they're beating Georgia. How's that supposed to prove anything, Thunder? How'd they get robbed? Please elaborate. I'd like to know. Other than 13-0, can y'all come with anything else besides 13-0? And the Senator Scott, he wants to see the emails. He wants to see transparency and text messages.
Oh, God. You guys are going to
Guess
get
what? If
started.
someone asks to see my phone, I'll be like, KMCA. You just kiss my country ass because you're not looking at my phone. I mean, what if I'm only looking at porn or something? You think I want you to see that?
Watching that midget porn.
Yeah. They got robbed. It was 13-0. They got robbed. I guess Liberty got robbed too, right?
All right. I'm going to get off here.
All
You
right.
guys have a good night.
All right.
Fun. Thanks, everybody, in the comment section for the comments, asking questions, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys next time. Well, maybe next time if I'm not working.
All right. Get with me on them Alamo Bowl tickets.
I will. If anybody's going to Alamo Bowl or going to be in Vegas for New Year's, make sure to hit me up. So,
Yeah, let's all get together for the Alamo Bowl.
all right. You all have a good night.
All right, later. That was Jonathan Lewis, formerly the podcaster known as College Football Jonathan Lewis. As you know, we like to compare him to Prince because he's a little bit of a sissy boy, just like Prince. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Prince, okay? Great singer. But he's still a sissy boy. Just like Elton John. Elton John, great singer, but he's a sissy boy. The Godfather says, great job, guys. I'm glad to have you here tonight, Godfather. I always like to have my fellow Alabama fans in here help me out. If you don't mind, Godfather, if you haven't already, if some of y'all hadn't already, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Make sure you hit that bell, too, when you hit subscribe, because if you don't, it won't notify you when I'm up and on the air. Take jabs after I get off like someone 5'1" would do. Look, man, I'm going to go in there and tell my wife you're talking bad about her again. Yes, my wife is 5'1", man. I can't help I like them short and stacked. Thick. By the way, Jonathan's just about 8 to 9 inches off. I'm more closer to 5'10", about 5'9.5". But he has an issue with it because he's so tall, and the doctors for the Air Force told him that he was abnormally tall. And, yeah, basically he's not a normal individual. It's like he's like 6'8", 6'9", somewhere along in there. You don't want to went and got off, man. I didn't tell you to leave. Just because you leave don't mean I'm leaving the party. Although you did take about 7 or 8 people with you because I'm down to 21 people now. Everybody done left. Big Cojones Kelly says, I wish that the committee would have dropped Florida State to 6 after the loss of JT. Yeah, they should have. I mean, because we all know that Georgia's a better team. They're trying to say that they based this on who was the best teams. And if that's the case, then Florida State probably shouldn't even be in the top 8. Maybe not even the top 10. Maybe not even the top 12. Like Jeff Payton just said, maybe not even in the top AHSAA High School Association of Alabama. I don't even know if they could beat the Nagasaki egg rolls or the Tokyo Tech crab cakes. I mean, I just don't know about Florida State anymore. I don't know if they're ever going to recover. I don't know if they're ever going to recover. You know? College football with Jonathan Lewis says, I'm the life of the party. The death of the party. Gonna kill my buzz, man. Is Jonathan that tall, really? Well, Godfather, yes. Actually, he's a little bit taller than that. I said 6'9", but I think it's more along 6'9 3/4 or something like that. That's what he said the Air Force measured him at. Because if he had been 6'10", they wouldn't have allowed him in the military. He would have been too tall, and at that point, he would have been considered a spastic. That's a lie right there. That's another lie by Jonathan Lewis, by the way. Just like when he called me 5'1", you had to add about 9 inches to it. Same concept for this. You have to add about 8 or 9 to whatever Jonathan says because he's always 8 or 9 off because he's – don't tell him I told y'all, but he's just a little – something ain't right, man. Y'all don't tell him I told y'all that. Man. It's our secret. Oh, maybe FSU can lose to American Christian Academy, Tuscaloosa Academy, and Holy Spirit. Maybe, Jeff. Maybe. I hear that maybe Florida State, since they can't get out of their Clemson conference, because, you know, it used to be the Clemson conference for the past 4 or 5 years. If they can't get out of the ACC, I heard that Florida State and Rick Scott and Ron DeSantis and the entire government of the state of Florida is going to secede from the NCAA, and they're going to join the Japanese American Football League, along with the teams I mentioned a while ago, the Nagasaki egg rolls and the Tokyo Tech crab cakes. And I don't know, there's some other teams over there that I can't remember. I think the what was it? The Bangkok Cox? Somebody like that. But anyway. FSU can sue away. And they're already making themselves look bad with the ACC, talking down about them and talking bad about them. We deserve more money. Why? I haven't made the playoffs since rapist Winston left. Last time y'all won that championship was when y'all had a rapist on the team. You know? So they can sue away. Like I said, it's not going to pay when they sue away. They're going to get their ass put away. The top starting all this shit, man. They want to join the SEC. This ain't a good look for them. This ain't a good way of getting in the SEC in about 4 or 5 years when they're able to wiggle out of that 2036 contract that they signed. Who you talking about counting another man inches? Hell, Jonathan's the one that brought it up, big cojones, not me. So you need to get it right. You need to get it right, brother. It's old Johnny boy that's counting inches. You know, I'm not the one that's down there playing with my crawfish like you. And just because you go around molesting your crawfish down there in Louisiana, man, don't mean everybody else plays with it like it. Southside Skittle Shitters. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Rapist Winston. Instead of Jameis, it's rapist. Because we all know they cover that shit up. And why else would you destroy 3 or 4 cell phones? Because they were all videoing shit. Because they're a bunch of cowardly little perverted raping ass thugs. I think it's funny as hell. Best team went mice drop. Yeah, they basically shit on themselves. You're right. Ron DeSantis, you can suck it too, buddy. if you playing along with that shit, and like Chris said, man, I think they're just grandstanding. They're just hyping y'all up, man, like politicians do. Whether it be Democrats or Republicans, they all the same. I ain't a Democrat or a Republican because they're all crooked as hell. Yeah, well, maybe a crawfish is bigger. I don't know. That's between you and your hand, old 5-fingered Sally. All right, brothers and sisters, unless y'all got something else to ask me, I'm fixing to get up out of here, I think. I'll wait for a second to see if y'all got another comment to make or something. Maybe you want to donate to the show. There's a little money dollar sign at the bottom with a circle around it. You can click on that, write your comment out. It'll highlight it and put it at the top, and I'll answer it right away. FSU has been trying to leave the ACC for years. I don't know about that, but I know they've been making a stink about it big time here as of late, and they're looking rather stupid, to be honest with you. You signed a contract in 2036. It's totally 150% your fault. So, all right, brothers and sisters, I'm going to get up out of here now. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. If you get a chance, it's going to upload the podcast as well later on. Share with your friends. Let's get this party crunk. And if anybody's going to the Alamo Bowl, hit me up on Twitter at OCF Productions or on Facebook. I'm on Facebook under Jesse Paul Clark. That's spelled Jesse without the I. Hit me up on there and let me know if y'all going to the Alamo Bowl or if y'all want to get together or if somebody wants to be a guest on the show or if you got some ideas for the show. With that, I'm out of here. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.